for YouTube applying. Hello, everyone. How we doing?
What up, nerds?
What is up, nerds? Oh my goodness.
Nerds and turds. How's it going?
I love being nerds and turds. They're the
Making
best.
sure.
What?
Are
What's
we
happening?
live?
So yes, we are
There
hanging
we
out,
are.
everybody. It's hot soup time. That is the weekly time where we get together and talk smart and sometimes about magic cards. That is
Talk smart. Well, we try.
we try. We try to talk about we try to bring it back to the
We
to
make
magical
a
cards.
valiant effort.
We do, I think. Perhaps. Maybe.
We
A
do
little.
something.
We do something. Exactly. We sure do. All right. But yes, we are hanging out, and today we're going to be looking at a couple of legendary creatures from Murders at Karlov Manor.
Yes,
Uh,
I'm very excited because
yes.
I haven't seen a lot of the spoilers. I haven't been paying attention to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically because I am so fucking feral for this set
Yeah.
and the amount of traveling conventions and events that I'm doing in the next few months. I don't have a penny. I'm doing a GoFundMe. I don't even have money to do this shit.
Yep. I understand. I get it, believe it or not. Yeah.
So like, and it comes out the day after my birthday.
I mean.
Karlov is also an Aquarius,
Oh, really?
which is why it's ghosting you. There's a lot of ghosts. We're ghosting you. We're impossible to get in touch with, so it's always a detective adventure.
Okay.
You
okay.
always gotta
That
look
is-
for clues.
This all checks out, actually. That makes
Karlov's
a lot.
Karlov Manor's an Aquarius.
Okay. Actually, you know what? You might be onto something there. Yep. Okay. I get it. Very cool. Oh yeah. Oh man, it never even occurred to me. Well, yeah. What star signs are associated with different sets? That's
Now you got me doing. God damn it, Ham. What have you done?
yeah. That's our next segment that we're gonna be bringing in.
I'm gonna do that. I've done it before with legendary creatures,
Yep. Okay.
and yeah,
I love
those have
this.
been fun.
I love
Those
this.
have been fun.
Very cool. Well, yeah. When it comes to star signs, I definitely would defer to you on that one because I know very little about how that works. Yeah.
I
get-
just know that
yeah.
Aquariuses are just like, okay.
Just like that, huh? Whereas,
As-
I'm a Gemini, and I know we're very inconsistent. That's all I got. Yep. That's,
You get bored easy.
we sure do. Yeah. I once in college actually a girlfriend that I had in college was also a Gemini. When I mentioned that to my mom, her immediate reaction was, "Oof, that's a lot of personalities in the room." And like, maybe a little.
Yeah.
Actually, it was more chill than you might imagine. But anyway, yeah,
No, air signs.
stuff.
We vibe.
yeah, it's all good. We're just chilling.
We vibe.
Both of
Even
us,
now,
we're
I'm
just chilling.
actively on my phone.
Okay, you're
My
not wrong.
inbox is full. My voicemail inbox full. Has
Yeah.
been 6 months. Unread texts. God knows I can't see them anymore when I
mean-
scroll for a while. Were they important? Hope not.
I hope not. Yep. What else?
Hope not.
Good stuff. Oh my goodness, I love it. So yes, we are
Anyways,
getting
sorry.
started. We're already as unhinged as ever, which makes me very happy. Although if there's ever a time for unhinged banter, it's at the top of a live stream, right? Because that's when
That's
people
true.
like plenty of people haven't seen that we're live yet, and we'll
And I'm
be coming
still
in as we go.
I'm still posting. Soups
I should
on.
probably be posting as well. That would make sense. But here we are. But yes, the soup is on, everybody. But yeah, so Murders at Karlov Manor looks super fun. I'm not gonna lie. And over the last
I'm
couple,
excited.
over the last
really-
week, we have seen so many stinking cards, and it's funny. The reaction to this set overall has been really hit and miss. Like, I don't know. I see individual cards posted with a whole bunch of people going, OMFGs, this is amazing. And people losing their mind. Followed by, I don't think this set's all that great. And I'm just like, where's the disconnect? Why do so many... I'm getting the vibe of like, oh, this set isn't very powerful. I hear that a ton. I don't know
feel
what
like-
set they're looking at. Because the cards that I've seen look amazing. I have no doubt.
Is it just?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I feel like we do that with every set,
Of course we do.
and then there's always the handful of cards that end up being the absolute hits
Mm-hmm.
and are able to go through not only most of the formats
Yep.
but continue far beyond the set being new and shiny.
Absolutely. Well, and it's the thing that I love too about it is we see that it kind of blows my mind actually how different formats interact with different different cards. You know, the cards that are bangers in standard will not be the bangers in Commander. Like, almost guaranteed. I mean, you have cards like Shelter of the
Ever.
Apocalypse, which are a little bit of an anomaly in that regard. But
Yeah, some of the legendary creatures are disgusting.
Sometimes
across the board.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
and there is one of them today that I'm going to talk about that I think is in that camp. But
Bowmasters.
Bowmasters was
another
also
one.
just silly
One
good.
Ring, all over the
Everybody.
place. Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the most recent ones that I can think of anyway.
Yeah, and so there are a handful of those that are just transcendent and just take over multiple formats. That absolutely happens. But for the most part, like, you don't see Commander players going gaga over Deep Cavern Bat. That's not a thing. Meanwhile, Standard players are like, oh, I hate that stupid bat. Like, it just, because in that format, it's strong. And in other formats, it's not.
Like,
And
I've never played Blitz in my life, and then freaking Timeless happened, and now stop playing Timeless.
I love Timeless. I love Timeless.
I
love Timeless
I'm bad
as
at
much
it,
as I
that's my
hate
problem.
Historic. Like, I hate Historic. I have one Historic deck that I really enjoyed. And today on stream, we were trying to a standard brew. It wasn't quite clicking. And I was like, you know what? We've got maybe an hour left. I'm going to switch decks. I'm going to kind of go to something that I know is going to work. We'll get a couple games in, get a couple wins under my belt, walk away feeling happy. Okay, cool. And I pulled up, I have a Helm of the Host Forge Anew deck that can generate infinite combats like Splinter Twin style in Historic. It needs Forge Anew to work, which is a card from Lord of the Rings, therefore only available in Historic. So, like, okay, I can't play this in Timeless. Although, actually, I could play it in Timeless, now that I think about it.
Yeah, you can play them in Timeless.
I could play it in Timeless. I should be playing
Which I'm
it in
pretty
Timeless.
sure Lord of the Rings
But-
and Baldur's Gate was the reason they included alchemy in
Probably. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I think that's the biggest
I'm
reason.
one of the people that's like kind of salty alchemy's in it. I'm like, I don't trying to
get
get
it.
away from it.
I get it. I understand that. I understand that feeling.
I'm just actively trying to get away from it.
But no, never. It's everywhere. It is in all the places. Yeah.
I don't
It's just
Can we-
Bowmasters. All is Bowmaster.
just reel it in.
I think they're
Fuck.
gonna just rebrand, Magic Arena to just Magic Standard and Bowmaster. It just is what it is. Because that's how people play. You either play with Bowmaster or with in
I'm
Standard.
not mad about that card. It's one of those that it's like, ugh, okay,
Yeah,
you're so annoying.
I would be mad about it, but I was gonna be playing black in all my decks anyway, so I just throw it in and just accept that I'm just part
Oh
of the
yeah,
problem.
it's one of those that I'm like, ugh, I need 12 copies. Thank
You just yes, yeah. It's like I hate this. However, yes, I will.
Most
take
of my
4,
decks are
please.
black.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. But in any event, where was I going with this? What was I saying? Oh, so it's kind of fun. In this set, I think we have a ton of new build-arounds. So in Murders at Karlov Manor, we have a ton of weird build-arounds that janky brewers like me we're eating good, baby. We've got so much stuff that we can manipulate. Like, if your favorite deck builders out there on all the various, various medium, you will have plenty of content to choose from.
Yeah.
Including myself, twitch.tv/AMX42. All right, anyway, now that shameless plug's out of the way, I'm going to be brewing with this set like nobody's business, because there's so much stuff, even in the main set, that is just absolutely banana pancakes. And then you get into the Commander product, dog, things are just getting absolutely off the rails. The number of like really interesting interactions that are happening out there, and the amount of just stuff, the sheer volume of powerful effects and unique mechanics that we haven't seen before, or ones that we have seen before that are just kind of being perfected or twisted in kind of a new way. It's really cool. I think there's a lot of amazing things happening in this set. And
All
I'm
right,
very
I
excited
am
to get
still
into it.
posting
You're still posting?
that we are live.
Okay.
Like a dingus.
Hey, so that means I'm distracting while you're trying to be posting. You know what? I'll
No,
take
it's
that.
fine. Just keep running your mouth.
That's what I do, baby. I'm all about running my mouth. It is what we... Fun fact, if you too run your mouth, might I recommend live streaming? It's definitely the place for it.
It's actually the only place we could do it acceptably without getting hit,
Exactly. Yep.
like in the face.
And it's encouraged. It's great. Like, you can't leave dead air. Like, you just keep yammering.
Oh, you gotta
Aha!
keep going.
I
Gotta
got
keep
you.
going.
All right.
It's a place where salty people like me and Go Covert Blue and Maltown can thrive without getting banned from an LGS for picking on the guy picking on people.
Yep. Absolutely. There's a time and a place for this.
There's
But
a
yeah.
time and a place.
For everything. And it's called college. Anyway, thank you, South Park, for giving me the opportunity to shamelessly steal that one. Please don't sue me. So, They can't sue you for one stolen joke, right? That's not a thing. I don't think I'm not worth their time. Anyway, they could get all of my $0. Oh no. And in any event, let's go ahead and jump on into it.
Hi, Gozer.
Hello.
You brat.
We doing something. You know it.
I love him.
I know,
So
right?
show me commanders that I want to build.
So commanders that you can
Because
build that are really fun.
Let me tell you what I just recently finished.
Oh.
Abuelo from Ixalan,
Yep.
which is just super thematic. So it's very slow, pre-con level chill, but like OG pre-con, not fucking timey-wimey.
And actually, the precons for this set apparently are stacked. Like absolute. People were telling me about them today. Like apparently the lists are like they're reprinting like Animate Dead and Necromancy and like some like really insane stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Sir Ginger.
Excellent.
I don't have very good artifacts, and I kept it super budget. Both of them are super budget, so I have to spend less than $100 in cards for both of them. Sir Ginger, I need $20 in cards. So of course, neither one of them strong. I think Sir Ginger has a better shot. And then Scary Time, I have Indominus Rex that I'm finishing up, and Sauron that I'm finishing up.
Okay.
So I have super theme and I have super strong, but I do not have a super jank that I have built, like hard jank since Gaiom. That's really been it. That food concept that just got a beautiful amount of support. Now he's fucking stacked. It is great.
Love it.
And I was just starting to get into clues.
Okay.
And then Karlov got announced and I was like,
well,
and then it got announced for my birthday and I was like,
heck yeah. So we have a couple that we can get into that are definitely going to be on the janky side of things. Now I'm wondering.
I'm sorry.
What?
Gozer just trash talked me in the chat. Can we report him for bullying? Don't report him for bullying. It's my partner. It's funny, but I hate him for talking about slapping the shit out of me with his pantaloons pre-con.
Indeed. The Pantslaza, yeah. Pantzilla, as that TCG guy would say. Which, yeah. That just makes me... Or no, that was Trying Casually, is who's, I believe, calling... Or no, was it? Dang it, now I'm getting a mix-up.
Damn, or Corey. I can see it from either of them.
Yes, lovely people. I wouldn't be surprised if they both have. Let's see, have we talked about... Okay, so the main set has a whole host of legendary creatures in it that are clearly designed to... Like, this is something that Wizards does, where they push a particular, like, multicolored legend into the main set, with the thought being maybe some crazy genius is going to be able to draft around this. Maybe it's going to see some play in Standard. Maybe it'll be a good utility creature. But let's be real. Like, Commander players are going to love this. Like, there are a handful of those. And
they pander to us.
Oh, they pander. They be pandering. And let's go ahead and get started with one of those that I think is pretty notable.
Oh, the new Niv Mizzet.
New Niv Mizzet Guild Pack. So if you want to do 5-color BS, our boy Niv Mizzet Guild Pack's got you. So it is
honestly, welcome to your Niv Mizzet Typal.
100%. So this Mizzet here is a 6/6.
Colors, that's half the Mizzies.
I know, right? We got we can get a bunch of Mizzet. Honestly, you could genuinely put the other Nivs in this, and it would be quite strong.
You put all the other Nivs in this. Now it's a Niv Typal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excuse you.
Exactly. So the card itself.
And we're all a minimum of 2. Sorry.
You're right. The card is a 6/6 flying hexproof from multicolor for Wooburg. So one of every color. So 6/6 flying with protection for 5. We saw something similar to this with Niv Mizzet Reborn. But wait, there's more. By the way, Niv Mizzet Reborn also absolutely 100% goes into this deck all day, every day. No question. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just do it. The reason for Niv Mizzet Guild Pack, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards, and you gain X life, where X is the number of different color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors.
You could honestly grab this and just make an Izzet deck or whatever guild you want and focus on that So the whole damn deck is 2 colors.
That isn't going to work super well. You're only going to get one of each ping if you do it that way.
Oh yeah,
It is best if you represent all 10 guilds in some way, and preferably with permanents that are on the battlefield. So if you have a two-color creatures like the Niv Mizzet Parun or some of the other Niv Mizzet Firemines or any of that jazz, they can represent Izzet very comfortably. Then there are so many cool Golgari creatures. Like if you got Glissa in the mix, you got any Izonas, you got any there are things you can do to easily fill this with 2-color cards that are just good on rate creatures for what they are. You could make them all 2-color legends and then put Jodah in the 99. You could do you indeed.
Oh my God, Essica.
Done. Pow.
Rainbow Bridge.
And you also have all of the 2-color planeswalkers. You could go Super Friend style with this. Like, it's not hard to take this card and just go absolutely haywire with it. And because it's whenever it deals combat damage to a player, so it itself does not have haste naturally, unless of course you give it haste somehow, which you have options. But it has to connect. And so, being a 6/6 flyer is obviously helpful in that regard. But there are plenty of scenarios where people are going to be able, you can interact with this. And you see it coming. And it has to have a board state in order for that effect to be good. But boy, howdy, if it happens, whoo.
You know what's wild to me about this one?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the exact opposite of how you play every other Niv. Like, I feel like
kind of
the most common way you see a Niv played, sorceries and instances.
Yep. Yeah, but very few
triggers
permanents.
Almost all of them. So for this to go the absolute opposite and want you to build a permanent board state, it feels like the natural way to go with this. That to me is the most wild part about this card.
Yeah.
Is how not Niv Mizzet I feel it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only other Niv...
Obviously, could be wrong.
The only other Niv that was similar to this is Niv Mizzet Reborn from War of the Spark. This one, 6/6 flyer for 5. You didn't see this one in... a lot of Commander players bypass this, but it sees play in, I believe, Pioneer. There's a archetype called Niv to Light, which is using Bring to Light to cheat this into play. And when it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, you choose a card that's exactly 2 colors. And then you put it in your hand. And so you find a Golgari card, you find an Azorius card, you find an Izzet card. And so the whole idea is you fill your deck with a whole bunch of different 2-color cards, and this can help you find them. And so obviously they work well together.
There's so much stuff that do 2-color cards exactly.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
There's a weird amount for this weird, niche little support.
Yeah, it's such a weird...
This could be my weird little build.
It could be. You could do some fun stuff with this. And I think this is one of those where if you wanted to go super Sweatfest and have Oko and have, your casualties of war kind of effects, and if you wanted to be super mean, get 3 fairy in there, you could. You easily could.
And think about how many gross-ass creatures... come in these colors that you can yeet out more. Hi, Yuriko, Niv Mizzet, what up? I hate it.
You could easily do all of that if
you
want to. But you could also build this on a budget in a way that is fun and exciting and can create goofy board states. And you can pull some really obscure, uncommons from other sets that happen to be 2 colors and stick around. Or create tokens that are 2 colors that, nobody's going to see coming. So
think about all of the things that you've ever want to put together that are permanent-based decks, but you couldn't because there was no commander that held those colors together.
Exactly.
I feel like he's vague enough in mechanic that this could apply to so many things.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he will be a notable choice for jank.
100%. For jank builders.
My humble opinion.
Yeah, this is one of those where and I also think when you sit across the table from somebody, it's funny, there are certain things, if somebody says, "Oh, I'm playing Prosh," or "Oh, I'm playing Heliod," okay, I know what this is going to be. Don't worry, it's not one of those Prosh decks.
It's
always one of those Prosh decks.
It's always that Prosh deck.
Yeah. Okay.
When I say it's not that kind of get rog deck, yes, it's 5-minute turns with land, but I'm not winning in under 5. We're not doing CEDH. I am digging for my life drain combo with no tutors.
Sure.
I'm either drawing it or I'm not.
I love that. Yeah. And so it's one of those things. But with Niv, I think when people sit down and be like, "Oh, I'm bringing Niv Mizzet Guild Pact," Like,
What does that even mean?
what does that mean? Like, what are we doing here? And so, like, you need to tell me more, because, like, I don't feel like we have a good
even
idea.
Like, if you say Joda, sure. What kind of legendaries?
Yeah, how hard are we going?
Yeah, you say Rainbow Bridge, I immediately poop my pants. I don't know what you're doing, and I'm about to find out. I don't wanna.
Yeah, if you're bringing a
Whatever it
Zika,
is, I don't have enough removal for it. I'm playing black, and I don't remove enchantments.
it's funny. There's only one Asika deck that I've played against like often, and I don't think the Rainbow Bridge has ever been cast. It's always been as the creature, just to help power
That's
out a bunch
wild.
of planeswalkers. Yeah, but
That's
it's one of those.
wild
But
to
yeah, if somebody has Asika in the command zone, it's just like you look at it, you're starting 7. It's like, I have 2 disenchant effects in 1 land. I'll figure it out. Absolutely keep.
Yep, that's it. That's all we got. Yep.
Yep. But in any event. But yeah, so this Niv Mizzet, I think, has an opportunity to be really fun. I have no doubt there are going to be people who build incredibly powerful builds with this, but for the most part, I
think a clue deck would be hilarious with this.
You easily could do that. Yep. There are a lot of cool 2-color detectives in the new set as well. Like, get weird. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So I like it. All right, the next one that I want to talk about is another one. This is also in the main set, by the way. So at your pre-release, if you open this and you want to get, like, and you want to be ambitious and then, like, 03 real hard, you can do that with this in your sealed pool. But yeah, the next one I want to talk about is also from the main set. And it is possibly the single card that I'm the most excited for in this whole in this whole thing. And the moment I see it, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, of course you like this. Of course." Anzrag, the Quake Mole.
Yeah, no, okay.
I mean, like, come on.
The original Ham.
I'm sorry. Jeez, I like good things.
Look, they shouldn't have kidnapped our mole baby.
I mean,
They shouldn't have taken him.
they took him?
Okay.
What's up? What? I'm so confused.
This is him breaking out of whatever.
That is very much like, yeah, clearly breaking free of something. But
I
yeah,
don't remember the lore 100%, but he escaping because he was taken. And he didn't want to be there, so he was like, "Peace, bitches."
I'm out.
And now he's a gruel monster.
Peace.
And I love him.
So yes,
And
yeah,
Watsy, more mole support, you cowards.
we just need more moles. I know you'd be
More
like, but there are
moles,
plenty of god support. It's like,
Capybaras.
yeah, right.
You capybara
The
support.
capybaras do need some more love. You're right. I also love that we have.
Introduce a creature type that we're gonna fall in love with.
I also
and
love
then
that we
not
have beast as a creature type, and there is like a beast typal support, but we don't like. But now they're like taking all the animals and giving them their own specific type lines, and it's like, wait, what? But what about beasts? Like, what's the story?
Now I need other things.
Yeah.
Like mole beast god. It's not like we haven't given people like oh god, the Simic biddy. What the hell's her name? She's an elf ooze snake.
Vannifar. Yep.
Vannifar. What color are you?
She's everything.
There's so many names. There's
All
so
the
many
things.
things.
Honestly, I think it would be
I'm
really
confused
fun.
at how you got there.
It's I mean, Simic. That's what they do.
Yeah, I know. Simic Wild. They're the mad
Simic's
scientists.
Simic's wild with the creature types. Well, it's mad scientists, biologists, and they're always like splicing genes and coming up with new things and doing
Well,
it to
see, I always
themselves and each
consider them
other.
the
Like,
engineers because of how much fucking math is in their decks.
I mean, there's that. Yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, so Anzrag the Quake Mole. This card,
you would.
This is an 8/4 for 2 red-green.
This card is so gross.
It's so gross. When I first read that, I thought they're giving us 8 power. They're giving us 8 power on a 4-drop. Where's the downside? Well, let's read the text box. Let's find out together, shall we? Whenever Anzrag the Quake Mole becomes blocked, untap each creature you control after this combat phase. There is an additional combat phase. Wow, that's not the downside. That's not the downside at all, but there's this activated ability. What's this? 3 red, green. Anzrag must be blocked each combat this turn if able.
Where's the downside?
Where's the downside? There is no
They made it a
downside.
mythic. I honestly think there should be a 6-drop.
It could have been. Yeah.
I would even argue with 7 because that's disgusting. Now, granted, I understand that it's a 7 to activate that ability, but my guy, you are playing Gruul.
And you don't
are
need to activate
fine.
that. You do not need to activate this for this card to be great. You're getting 8 power on the board for 4. I mean, we're talking commander here, right? For obvious reasons. So, like,
gross.
if you're doing Gruul Stompy action, anybody out there with a Gruul deck or a Jund deck
I
where you are
can't
doing,
wait
like,
to get sick
Stompy
of this in
punches.
Brawl.
Well, and like I have a Marika deck, and like day one, once I get my hands on one of these, it's going in that deck, and it's not even in consideration, not a hesitation. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Just get in the damn deck. It's like, because of course, if you have access to these colors and you like to punch stuff, this is like best in class at the 4-drop slot.
Gozer, if you are there, please just take a moment to look at this card and read it, because
If you
this
love,
man.
if
This
you love
man
doing-
looked at me the other day and was like, I don't know if I want another Naya deck. And I was like, baby, just admit you found your colors.
That's fine.
He's like, Selesnya into Naya, just like I'm Golgari into Sultai. Like,
it's a logical progression, really. It makes sense.
we're the full color pie together. Isn't that gross?
It's kind of cute, but yeah, a little gross. You're right.
Right? Okay.
I mean, sure. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so Anzarek the Quake Bowl, this card is nothing short of insane. It is insane. It is busted. It is stupid.
It's not. It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Well, and so this is one of those where, yes, it's going to see playing commander, obviously. If you're doing punchy things, it's great. It can be your commander. Cool. Who doesn't love this? But the flip side.
All right, I like busted something, so I'm doing weird shit off camera. Don't
Okay. No, you're good. It's funny. So I mentioned the pre-release, right? And yeah, if you open the Niv Mizzet in your pre-release pool, that's not going anywhere. You're just like, you have that for later. I guess you could sell it if you don't want to play with it in a different format. But in sealed, that's a wasted card. You're never going to use this. In this case, if you get your hands on Anzrag the Quake Mole in any limited environment, like this, if you get this in your sealed pool at a pre-release, or if you get this at draft on Arena, just hope you draw it, because if you do, you win. I mean, like, the opponent will not be able to deal with this unless they have a targeted removal spell that shows up at the exact right time. This card is stupid. Like, and it's practically unblockable. That's the thing. Like, yes, it's going to cost you 7 mana in order to force a block to get additional combats. But okay, just assume you don't activate that.
Yeah.
If you play this 4-drop and it survives, which to be fair is asking a lot, especially in formats like Standard. Like, okay, but if it does, and you actually get to turn this thing sideways, even if they have a blocker, it's like you just. If you can block it, you better kill it. Otherwise, it's coming back at you again.
Yeah.
And if you don't block it, you're taking 8 to the face. Like, I'm living the dream. Yeah, you add fling effects to this. Shug, what up? You had fling effects to this. You had cards like Fight Rigging with this, Skullspore Nexus, any kind of Power Matters, anything.
It's gonna be the only time I hope for a Stacks player.
Honestly, yes. The control players are going to be everybody's heroes if this is on the board. Yep.
If I see somebody take this out, I'm like, mono black. That's all I got.
So it has a throat.
Actually,
Somebody go for it.
Now my Orzhov deck. It actually won the other night.
Yeah. Excellent.
Against Cody from the Jun Fund, and he was the reason I played it, because I was like, I wanted to have fun, and Cody's here. Fuck. Which, by the way, I love Cody, and that is why I say these things.
Yeah.
And I literally took a screenshot of me saying that to JM from Trying Casually, posted it on Twitter, and tagged Cody in it. Like, he knows how I felt.
That's amazing.
Anyway, sorry. I'm excited for Orzhov's support to make my Liaisa Forgotten Archangel deck a little bit nastier.
It's funny you mentioned Orzhov, because actually there's a card that I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to remember. I don't think did we talk about this last week? Check me if we did. I know we talked some spoilers last week. Did we talk about Tomic Wheel of Law this week? I think we may have. But
I think we did, but who cares?
But for Orzhov support.
I'm excited.
Tomic. I'm just saying. This card's
So
gonna be real
excited.
good. The affinity for Planeswalkers, it looks dumb until you realize affinity can help you pay commander tax. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yep.
Orzhov Super.
And who doesn't love playing against that? Which just means it is time. When this is released, it is time for me to build a new Sir Ginger deck.
Oh, it's already time for a new Sir Ginger. Interesting.
With it, I haven't been leaning into the Planeswalker effect. I've been leaning into the 1/1, and and on Commander on paper, I do that to lean into for Commander damage, because I think it's funny as hell to be beaten to death by a cookie.
I mean, that's fair.
I did literally why I built the deck. She's a little badass, and I love her, so I thought it would be funny.
Can confirm. Yeah.
And I'm very it's a classic win con. We're gonna get swole and punch, or I'm gonna find a life drain combo, and you're never gonna talk to me again.
I mean, fair.
But now that we got that fucking guy, and how annoying Super Friends decks can be to deal with because people don't, as a collective, tend to run target permanent removal
Correct.
or planeswalker removal as opposed to individual like disenchant, you know.
Yes, and this is
light up battles are a pain in the ass to get rid of too.
and I am once again asking you to run Binding the Old Gods more often.
You're obsessed
You have
with
to
it.
do it. Do it. All right. I will die on this hill. Okay.
You love this card.
I love this card so much. You need this card. If you have a deck that can support this card,
It
do
is my favorite saga. Actually, no,
good.
that's my second favorite saga. My favorite saga is Kiora Best of Seas, but I think we all understand that.
That's fair. Oh man,
It's
I'm trying to think of
so
my favorite
disgusting.
saga. Uh-oh. This is probably my favorite saga. It's definitely my most played saga.
I'm sure it's your favorite. You're obsessed with this card.
I am obsessed with that card. You know another card I'm quietly obsessed with that is a little more niche, so I don't talk about it as often. I do have a Kiora Best of Sea God, and it has won me many a game with my Tom Bombadil decks. But
Fucking Bombadil.
Cruelty of Gigs,
Oh, I never play this card.
you should. It's great. Just
Oh.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a tutor.
It's a tutor. It's a tutor. It's hand hate, which is kind of whatever.
And it's
Like,
recursion.
it's recursion. Yeah, and it itself is a permanent. So if you can reanimate a permanent from your graveyard, you can then create another creature. It's a whole thing. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe I don't know this card. I'm upset with myself. It's
You-
on Arena.
This was from Dominator United. Yeah,
I like. Maybe I might fucking have it on paper.
you might. This is in standard right now. I've played it in Commander a handful of times. It's any creature. It's a creature from any graveyard for Chapter 3. It has read ahead. You can pick whichever mode you need. It's incredible. This card absolutely like I cannot express how much this card
Absolutely
slaps.
wild.
It's phenomenal.
That's great.
This might be my favorite
That's
saga.
exciting.
This might
That's
be my
fair.
number one favorite saga.
That's fair.
In any event, but I digress. Yeah. So sorry, Elspeth Conquers Death, but we're gonna you're gonna have to take a back seat to a couple of other bangers. But yeah, I also have a soft spot for Kami War, just because if you can pull off Kami War, you earned it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love that, and that's the same thing with Kiora Best of Sea God. Like if you're in blue and you got a
If
7
you're-
mana,
yeah,
good
you
work.
got it.
You got it. You know. Yeah. That end. Well, unless you're playing Tom Bombadil, in which case, like, oh, okay, my Fall of Gilgalad is gonna resolve, and now I have a Kiora Best of Sea God.
Right,
Enjoy,
I don't want to
everybody.
talk to you, Tom Bombadil.
I love Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil's great.
I can't
Bombadil's
kill
life,
him, like,
okay?
Within 2 turns of him coming out, I just concede.
But my budget Bombadil's not that bad.
I'm like, I don't hate myself enough to keep doing this.
That's fair. Also, Bombadil players, there are a lot of,
You're all nightmares.
yeah, we are the worst. Just accept this. There's a whole series of cards that you are not currently playing in your Tom Bombadil decks that you need to. This is a weird little soapbox, but I'm just going to do it real quick. Just go with me on this. Just stay
for it.
stay with me, okay? So,
We're with you.
Whispers of the Dross. This card is ass. It's terrible. It's real bad. If for one, instant, target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn, proliferate. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's got proliferate. That makes sense. You got sagas, you're doing things. Neat. I can see why you'd like this. But you know what's especially, the reason that I mentioned this card specifically, it's an instant. Any instant speed proliferation in Tom Bombadil is like
Brutal.
10 times better. 10
Brutal.
times better than any kind of sorcery speed proliferate, because this is going to allow you to trigger your sagas on your opponent's turn. Bombadil says that he'll only trigger once each turn. He
Yep.
doesn't say that he'll only trigger once each turn cycle.
Yep.
Like,
You,
or,
you gotta love.
yeah. So, like, I pass. On your upkeep, I'm going to Whispers of the Dross your Birds of Paradise, and now I'm going to spin into another saga. Like, it's ridiculous. In those kind of decks, this lets you take your turns on your opponent's turns. You want to do that. It's great. Anyway, sorry. Random.
Sorry, somebody's coming over for my roommate, and I got a text that they're warning me that they're gonna be in the house so they don't freak me out if I hear them.
That was very courteous of them. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just letting them know. I know that they are now in my
Okay.
home.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. I understand you are not a home invader. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually really glad. I live in a situation where like my parents are very nearby. They're my next door neighbors, and they have keys to my apartment because it's legally part of their
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
They have yet to sneak up on me when I'm live, but I know they're going to one day, and it's going to be like they're the nicest people, so they wouldn't do that. I don't think. But
I feel like, yeah, but your audience would love that.
they sure would, and I would not enjoy it in the moment, but afterwards I'd look back on it and be like, well, thanks for the content, Mom. Appreciate that. Yeah, when I did the Outlast stream, I was seriously worried that that was going to be an issue. But it wasn't until it was like an hour in that I realized, like, oh, like there could be humans coming out of the shadow in real life at me.
The only time anyone ever like did anything was my dumbass roommate got drunk with their boyfriend, and
Where's
like
this going?
it didn't sink in while they were drunk that I was at work when I stream.
Yeah, that's part of the deal. Yep.
What are you doing? Get off camera. Why? Because you get off camera.
That's.
It was so funny. I'm like, the fuck is get the both of you? You know better. Get the fuck out of here.
I gotta say, that would definitely instill some rage, and this is me trying to get a segue. We have a new mother of rage.
I'm scared of bears in this game.
Doskana.
Why are we getting bear support?
Because bear support is the best. We should probably thank Graham from Loading Ready Run for all the bear jokes over the many, many years. It has Wizards very intrigued about bears. Like we got Ayula, the Queen Amongst Bears, some time ago. I believe it was in the first Jumpstart. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But now we have a new one. Doskana, the Rage Mother. And this is bear support in a way that you wouldn't think. So with Ayula, in order to get triggers and things, you needed cards in your deck that are the creature type bear. But you'll notice we have a lot of like colloquial, unofficial nicknames for cards. Like we that's just one of the things that we as Magic players do.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we call like cards that have an effect and then draw you a card. We call those cantrips because they're similar to like, you know, the free spells in D&D or whatever. So like, all right, fine, whatever.
Fucking nerds.
We call, if you ever have a 2/2 for 2, we call it a bear. That is because Grizzly Bears was 2/2 for 1 and a green. And that was one of the cards in Alpha, and it just kind of set the stage for what a creature at 2 mana would look like. And so you see a 2/2 for 2, it's a bear.
Call it a bear.
Doskana, the Rage Mother, is a 5/5 for 5. Big bear. When Doskana, the Rage Mother enters...
Inaya, please make that fucking distinction. So basically 2 mana.
Kinda, yeah. Because, yeah, we're in Naya, and you have red, green, and white. And then 2 generic. When Doskana, the Rage Mother, enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control with base power and toughness 2/2. Whenever a creature you control with base power and toughness 2/2 attacks, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Grizzly Bears, we're back. I'm so excited for this. And it doesn't care about whether or not they have other abilities. It doesn't care if they've been pumped. It keys off just the base power toughness.
Which is like the most classic big stomp mechanic possible here. And yeah, another one that I cannot wait to play against in Brawl when this drops.
Now, I mean, I
need more Death Touch decks.
Okay. I mean, wait, what?
I need more Death Touch decks so I can deal with
this. All of this going on over here. Yeah. But it says Mama Bear hanging out with little baby bears.
You and I both know I'm going to build it. Let's be fucking real.
Of course. I understand this.
I don't even like Naya, but this does look hilariously fun.
Well,
but I also hate it.
Yeah, I love this because we have so many different commanders throughout the course of the game that care about different things. We have the treasure commanders, we have the clue commanders, we have the creature type commanders, we have, you know, there's all these different things. You know, commanders that care about vehicles, commanders that care about equipment, whatever the case may be. There's like we have the hits, right? And yeah, when you see commanders like, oh, this one cares about the graveyard, Ham will probably like that. It's like, well, yeah, I do. And then we have, you know, these kind of things where it's like based on creatures, but the fact that this one cares about base power toughness.
Base power is the thing that sticks out. That is so weird, and that you don't see that, and I love it.
Yes.
That's why I like it, and I'm interested in it. Otherwise, thanks, I hate it.
Because you could run this. I mean, I've had situations in the past where, like, there are cards like the Welcoming Vampire. or Tokazia's Welcome, that say when a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Well, if you're running Anthem effects... Well, I'm sorry, I missed that. What?
Now they're like all in white.
Yeah, they're all in white, pretty much.
New white Karlov card.
Which one?
The white, I think it's a 2 or 3 drop and triggered abilities of creatures 2 or less.
I'm not getting there from here, I'm afraid.
Hold on.
But yeah,
Carry on.
I will. But yeah, so those ones, they care about their total power, their total power. And so if you have Wedding Announcement, flipped into Wedding Festivities, if you have Glorious Anthem, if you have, King Darien the Extra Large, any of these effects that buff your team, they're kind of a non-bow with those low power matters, creatures or effects. The fact that Descana keys off of the base power regardless of what the effective power or what the total power is a huge deal. So all of a sudden you can be running this alongside Anthem effects. And then on top of that, like, you're getting an additional +3/+3 bonus when they attack. And so they're buffing into, a 5/5. But again, if you have other anthems, they just totally stack on top of that. It's great. I think this is a really fun approach for kind of a weird beatdown strategy, because your opponents have to either sweep the board, because, of course, you're trying to flood them with creatures. So that is what it is. So there's that.
Okay, I sent you the card.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
This fucking thing. This.
Indeed.
Yep.
Delny, Streetwise Lookout. 2/2 for 2 and a white. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. If an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This doesn't work alongside our bear mama, because the bear buffs the team and they no longer have power 2 or less. And so then this doesn't see them, because this is not keying off of base power. This is keying off of total
glorious.
power.
Oh, good. So I can just put it in Abuelo with all my little spurts.
Yep, you got little utility sparts. This is going to do good work.
Spurts.
So yeah, with your spirited companions and things like that, just
blinking nonsense. Does it have a wing con? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's an ability of a creature with power 2 or less. I mean, the floor
so
on this.
gross.
The floor on this. Like, all right, I'm going to play Delny and then evoke Muldrifter.
Like, and the amount of white cards that come to mind. The first one is the last Elspeth that came out for March of the Machines.
The Archangel Elspeth. Yep.
And there's just, oh my god, why 3 or less recursion in white is just so much. I want to build an Orzhov recursion deck so badly because of it. Everything is 3 or less, and Shieldred.
And
what?
Shieldred.
Why is everybody giving me shit about Shieldred? You don't even know which one I mean.
Oh, come on. I don't know which one. What?
It's never that one. That is never the one I mean. Arguably, this is not the most annoying one. I think Whispering one's the most annoying one, because she won't stop bringing this bitch back from the graveyard. I don't have to pay for it, but I could keep yeeting out the Whispering one, who keeps bringing back more nightmares from the graveyard.
I find Whispering one really funny.
She's my favorite. She's my all-time favorite magic creature.
She's real good. And I do...
for her yet.
It's funny, I don't run Shelter of the Apocalypse in any of my decks, partially because I'm not spending extra money to be an asshole. That is not my preferred style.
It's like a $100 card right now.
It is. It's kind of wild. But beyond that, like, I could get my hands on one if I really needed to, but I don't like that. The playstyle on Shelter of the Apocalypse is just miserable. The idea, like, oh, if you're gonna do a thing that's powerful, you'll just die. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
$90 for this to spend a turn out. And for a casual deck, it's not even worth it.
No, absolutely not. And
when I say casual, for context, I mean like social.
Yes, I like that.
Like, it's meant to be like, yes, there's a win con, and yes, someone will win, but someone's gonna kind of win because the game needs to end, not because anybody was like looking for it the whole time.
Right.
We're more just like looking to make fun of our friends and make bad plays that have nothing to do with proper threat assessment because it's funny.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're trying to have a fun experience with the people around the table. That should be
Yeah.
the win in Commander, is
Yeah,
the
so I'm
time you
gonna
spend.
spend $90 because I think it's funny to piss off my friends. I will happily do that with a $3 card.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. And there's so many other, like, if you, yeah.
I just started building her and I took a screenshot of the 6 enchantments that are in there and I posted it to Twitter. And Valerie Fatality, who's a fucking war criminal, was like, B, what are you doing? And I'm like, Nether Void is not that big of a deal. Okay.
I don't know about that. I
Paired
mean,
with Dictate of Erebos, a Grave Pack, a Phyrexian Reclamation. Don't worry about it. The whole plan is to not have to cast that many spells. Yeah,
yep, thanks, I hate it.
I have it in Master Conrad, and I've had it out on turn 4.
There you go. But it's funny, so yeah, Sheoldred Whispering One is a card that I do run in a couple of my decks because she's an awesome reanimator
solid.
target. So I mean, come on, like,
And
yeah,
the sack for opponents,
Yeah.
especially in Brawl, is honestly kind of brutal
it can
because you automatically get rid of people's commanders pretty
be
regularly.
often. Yeah, absolutely.
If you can make it last a couple of turns, then definitely.
She,
But
she becomes a
me-
must answer threat. Yeah, absolutely.
For me, the thing I like to abuse the most is her Swamp Walk.
Sure.
Wait, ready? All I have to say is this. Yuriko.
I mean, you're.
She's unblockable. You can yeet out whatever the fuck you want.
I'm sorry. Your goal is to get a 7-drop with a powerful static online, and then turn it sideways so that you could pick her up and put in a 3-drop.
Depend. No, think about all the ninjas and how many things give you ninjas. So.
Oh, sure.
So you're in a Yuriko deck. You're yeeting out Toxrill. You're yeeting out Sheoldred, but now you have Swamp Walk. So yeah, you're gonna punch somebody in the face for a 6/6 that they can't block because they had the audacity to be affected by your Urborg. And
I mean, yeah, of course.
before you know it, all your war crimes are on the battlefield.
I mean, that's.
I mean, you need Saturo in there.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
really the key. But that little interaction is, you have to dig for it. It's not easy, but it's so funny.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah.
And if you think about it, I'm going to yeet Sheoldred. I'm going to use Sheoldred to yeet Yuriko. I'm going to yeet Yuriko to yeet Shield.
It's almost like Eureka's a busted card or something. All right. Don't worry. I have one too. I have that deck too. I'm just saying.
First CEDH game I ever won, Yuriko.
Nice. You know, it's funny. I do have a Eureka deck. I almost
Now
never.
Like,
I almost never play it. I almost never touch that deck because I feel like an absolute dick every single time I do. Because it's just like,
to be right.
yeah, it's so brutal. Because it's just like I'm gonna be the arch enemy, and you know, and
Yeah.
I love it too when I say that though, because there's so many rule zeros where like people are like, yeah, I'm bringing some really high power stuff. All right. Is it cool if I bring Eureka? And everybody's like, yeah, it should be fine, right? It's like, yeah, I'm going to be the arch enemy on this one. They're like, I don't know. Like, smash cut turn 2 where I was like, all right, so everybody loses 25. And they're like, what the hell? Like, I know.
Why? And I'm like, my bad, my guy, I told
Like,
you.
I don't know what to tell you. It just is what it is.
um,
Ornithopter is a hell of a card, right? Don't look at me. Like, don't at me.
Well, I won't play Conrad or Tiny Bones unless the vibe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody needs to be cool with it. Of course. That's very important.
Powerful lower power decks, but for me, lower power simply means it's slowed down.
Yep.
And
The
I
speed
have
is really
less-
what's... Yeah, the speed's what's
and
important.
that includes how quickly I reach a win con.
Yeah.
So, like in one deck, I have every possible way to get a life drain combo,
Mm-hmm.
and in another deck, I have like 2 ways as a kill switch when the game is going too long.
Right. I get that. That makes
So
sense.
anything I can get out of the new set that can enhance these abilities. Sorry, I got cat hair stuck on my nose ring.
I completely understand. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank-
The amount of time I spend on my various streams kind of going after my cat gets up in my business, I get it. You're good.
So funny though.
I mean, we love them, but yeah. But yeah.
Speaking
So,
of pets,
what?
the Scooby Doo cards that came, the Scooby Doo esque commander card that came out. Well,
There is.
legendary. Have you seen her?
I mean,
This one, I like how it was like, I don't know anything, and now I'm calling out cards you didn't see.
Sophia, Dog and Detective.
Yes.
Don't worry, they were teed up. Yeah, so Sophia, Dog and Detective.
Yay.
1 green, white, blue, legendary creature, human detective with a big O dog. So, yes, that's Scoobs if I ever saw one. This is a 3/4. Whenever Sophia, Dog and Detective enters the battlefield, create Tiny, a legendary 2/2 green dog detective creature token with Trampler. And you can pay 1, sacrifice an artifact token, put a +1/+1 counter on each dog you control. Whenever a dog you control deals combat damage to a player, create a food token, then investigate.
So you know where I went immediately. I was like, now here's the thing. These colors, IMO.
Yeah.
Peak clue colors. This is everything. You get Longness to Denick. You have everyone in here, but she makes food. Obviously, the answer is a full artifact token deck.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can do a ton of artifact tokens. It also,
Obviously, this means I'm going to try to abuse the hell out of this.
and you're also incentivized to put as many dogs in there as you can. So, like, little cards like Spirited Companion all of a sudden become much stronger. You also have, I'm trying to remember the Loyal Warhound, the one that if you're late in the turn cycle can help you ramp a little bit in white. Like, okay, that all of a sudden, very solid here.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Selfless Savior, like, if you don't need to get the Indestructible, it could actually just become a pretty decent-sized threat. Any kind of treasure generators that you have here, incidentally, can also just help boost everything. This is a cool synergy. Like, this has a lot of cool synergies with it. And obviously, like, artifact token sacrifice stuff. Okay, sure. We have food tokens. We have clue tokens. We have...
Have you seen the token for Tiny?
I have not seen the Tiny token yet. I need to see if I can...
He is just a big, goofy Great Dane. He's
I love
so
this.
goofy. Look at his goofy little face.
Like mid-run, I love
Like,
the
that's
fact.
what they look like when they're running too. It's so funny.
Well, clearly this was illustrated by somebody who has spent time with dogs. To see like that goof when they're running straight at you and they're happy to see you, this is exactly what it looks like. The tongue out, the ears flopping, and they picked the most awkward moment in the stride to capture this picture. It's really it's pretty lovable. This is great.
Perfect. So had to shout out Tiny, the dog detective, who, by the way, I would like to point out has a base power of 2/2.
Hey.
It's not the same colors.
Yes,
But
because we need blue for this. The other thing that I noticed, I
think of ways to weaponize that Niv Mizzet.
one of the things about Sophia that I think was very deliberate is that we don't have red. That was super duper uber hella important because if you put Sophia and Ginny Faye together, shut up. Like, that was gonna be absurd. So if you have a 4-color or 5-color deck where you can make that happen, that could be a fun angle on maybe that Niv Mizzet deck or maybe a Jodah deck. Just saying. Yeah.
Clues would definitely work, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Actually, just shameless plug. Tomorrow I have Salt Factory, and it's Jacob Hawk and Inspector.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which I planned that before Karlov was announced, so I didn't plan on having a Inspector theme right before Karlov comes out. It
worked out well though.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I built clues.
Of course.
It's not a very good deck, but I think it'll be funny.
I love it. Yeah. So no, Sophia Dog and Detective is delightful. Also, you can run this with Arcane Adaptation, Maskwood Nexus, those kind of effects, so that all of your creatures are dogs. Like, yeah.
Avacyn.
What now?
Avacyn,
also strong, yes. I mean, because, yeah.
Avacyn's a dog. That's
Avacyn
terrible.
is a dog.
Sigarda is a dog.
Is a
Let's
dog.
go.
Yep. Here we
Yeah,
are.
I'm building this deck.
Yeah, the opportunities here are ridiculous, and I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. So
I
yeah,
don't even like Bant, and I want to build this.
right? Good stuff. So another one that got spoiled not too terribly long ago.
Feather.
Yeah, Feather, Radiant Arbiter, Feather's back. Yeah, if you've been playing any kind of heroic decks anywhere, you probably are familiar with Feather. And yeah, she gets a new card. 4/3 for red, white, angel, flying lifelink. So 4/3 for 3, 2-color angel. Already rock solid. Nothing wrong with this,
I'm happy with that.
right?
Flying and lifelink. Bet.
So good. Lifelink is such a powerful keyword. It's kind of absurd.
Especially when it's flying.
Yes, agreed. So, whenever you cast a non-creature spell that targets only Feather, Radiant Arbiter, you may choose any number of other creatures that spell could target and pay 2. For each of those creatures, pay 2 for each of those creatures. If you do, for each of those creatures, copy that spell. And the copy targets that creature. So, let's say I want to...
So it's like Zada with lifelink and wings.
Kind of, and it costs mana in order to make the copies.
Yeah.
So Zada's way better at this, to be fair. But Feather is
What
just...
if you copied Zada? What if you copied the spell onto Zada?
I mean... You're not casting it, targeting Zada.
No, okay. Fair.
Yeah.
I never play Zada. I forgot how he worked. I'll shut up now.
It's all good. I think Zada... I believe Zada only triggers... Yeah, whenever you cast an instant short to the target's only Zada.
Okay,
Yeah,
never
copies
mind.
don't trigger that, unfortunately. Yep. Fun thought, though. Honestly, though, you could probably put Zada in a Feather deck as a backup plan and feel pretty good about it. But yeah, so with
having them both on the board and just taking turns would be delightful.
it sure would be. So yeah, but it's any non-creature spell targeting Feather, where Feather's the only target. Now we've seen with Zada, this almost feels like a fixed Zada. And as a result, I feel like a lot of people are going to appreciate the idea of this card and think it's neat and then never actually play it. Because there's a better option at uncommon that is like $1. So why would I not just play that? You know, it's only red. This gives you access to white.
Copies. If anybody frickin' wants some, you can have them. I won't charge you. My God.
I love the idea.
Stamps. It's free. Please take them. Them and I don't need this many Valdux. Stop reprinting him. I understand he's good in limited. Does he have to be in every limited set? This is a little weird.
Yes.
I'm being sexually harassed by Valduk.
Yikes. I mean...
No, I joke that when I pulled a lot of a card in a set, that I'm being sexually harassed by them because I'm being wildly dramatic and obviously not serious. But like 5-color Omnath, I pulled so many of them. I'm like, why am I being sexually harassed by the angry jelly bean?
Is the angriest of jelly beans.
The angriest jelly bean.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that totally.
Why sexually? Like harassed, sure, but why sexually?
Because I thought it was funny.
Because it's funnier? Okay, got it. Yeah, like...
Okay, it started with Omnath. Think about it. How are you being sexually harassed with the embodiment of energy? It can't talk. Like, it can't... Can it touch you? Or does it just yeet energy? I feel like he just yeets energy.
I don't know, but that wouldn't necessarily feel bad, would it? I don't...
He looks like a fucking hentai monster, so not gonna go well.
I mean...
But
hey,
yeah.
hey,
Oh,
we're not here to yuck anybody's yum, okay?
I pulled so many of him that I just like made it as an offhand joke, but then I thought it was really funny.
By the way, fun fact, this card, if you're looking for 5-color good stuff commander, rock solid. It is just good. It's fun, but it's funny. I think the reason that this card never resonated, like we were looking at Niv Mizzet at the top of the show. That is a 5-color commander with a clear mechanical identity.
Yes.
2-color permanents matter. So that gives you a building direction. With
but it's
Omnath,
also open-ended, so that you can take the direction kind of anywhere you want, but you're guided.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, we encourage you to do this with this. Whereas with Omnath, Locus of All, it's just sort of like, you draw an extra card on your turn, and you might get more mana.
Like, this makes
story,
me
brah. Like,
5-color stacks, which I feel like makes me a bad person.
good.
I have not seen this card in Brawl. I have yet to see anybody play it in Commander, but I haven't seen this card like in Brawl yet.
Mm-hmm.
Where it felt like there was clear direction in where this commander can go.
Right. Well,
even building it, I felt kind of, I don't know, nothing clicked.
Exactly. Well, this is one of those where, yeah, and you definitely feel it when you're on Arena, right? When you have your whole collection in front of you and like, all right, Commander, Omnath, click. All right, next card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's funny. I have a deck built around Omnath, Locus of All on Arena specifically, but yeah, I built it backwards. I built the deck around a joke. I built a deck with a meme in mind, and I had to come up with a commander that could work with it. And I was like, I'm not going to put Golos or Kenrith in this spot. But even then, I had to very deliberately be like, don't do Kenrith, don't do Kenrith, don't do Kenrith, don't do Kenrith. Because it's just going to be another Kenrith deck. And we're on Arena, so we could do Golos, but then it's just going to be another Golos deck. I was like, find something else. What about Kyodai? Maybe. Omnath. Yeah, okay, get in here. You know, it was one of those. But it's a board deck. It is all boar.
You told me.
I believe I have shared this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's and literally, the deck is all of the different pigs in like everything that has a type boar is in the deck, and
Cute.
if you go onto Arena and you type in boar into the card search box, every card that comes up is in the deck. Yes, that includes Boarded Window, and it's very dumb. Boarded Window, Board the Weatherlight. These cards are terrible. They're actively terrible, and they work against what my deck's doing. But I find them funny, so they're in. Because that deck is a meme. It is a full-on meme factory. That is the entire idea. And Omnath at the top, and as a result, Omnath is the best card in the whole thing. And it comes down on 4 pretty regularly. Draws me 2 cards a turn. Maybe I get a couple mana off it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's actually
It's great utility if you have a really good idea of what you want to do with said utility.
Right, exactly. The fact that it's a 5-color commander that can just come down on 4 is pretty cool. Like, I don't know, it's fine, but
Powerful.
yeah, it's a good card. It gets overshadowed by a lot of other things. Is the problem?
Yeah.
It's so easy to overlook, and it's not interesting. It's not catchy. It's not sticky. You know? Yeah. Thank goodness Golos is banned, right? Because that actually gives Omnath a freaking chance. Anyway. Yes, I said it. Thank goodness.
It's legal, and I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I said it. Thank goodness Golos is banned. Thank goodness Golos is banned. This guy?
Look, if islands aren't banned, that's all I'm saying.
I hate this card so much. I've played against... This is one of those cards. So it's funny. I was joking around earlier. Like, people say it's not that kind of Prosh deck. It's always that kind of Prosh deck. We got Prosh, we got Atraxa, not Grand Unifier, Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, and a number of these other commanders that people just know. And like, okay, I know what that deck is. And Yuriko's another one of those, where it's just like, oh, it's one of these. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm never going to tell anyone that my Yuriko deck is not that Yuriko deck. My deck is 100% that Yuriko deck. Are you ready to play that Yuriko deck today? If so, great, let's jam. If not, I'll pick something else.
I don't even know what that combat deck would be, but I have it.
But with Golos, you can't build Golos in a way that is not that Golos deck. You have to actively sabotage yourself. Otherwise, like if this card if your mana base can allow this card to activate, you're going to do dumb, ridiculous nonsense that the game cannot support and stay fun for the other players. Guaranteed. It is absurd how good this card is. It's stupid. It's stupid. A 5-color commander that gives... The 5-color commander that is colorless, so you don't even need to fix your mana before it shows up. It fixes your mana for you, which helps pay for one of its commander tags the next time around.
You're just there. You just showed up.
It's ridiculous. And the fact that, like... 2 Wooburg. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. It's not one of them. It's all of them. What? Anyway, sorry. We don't need to talk too much about this, but let me just go on record here on this channel saying, fuck Golos. All right, next. Next up. So, yeah, so we were talking about Feather. And, so anyway, so Feather I find interesting. It's an interesting card. It has a lot of potential, but I think it is too fair by 2024 standards. I think although actually, come to think of it, on the one hand, I kind of love this because it allows you to, you can play a deliberately, like, synergistic card that is a little too slow to be like hyper competitive. So you can build this in a way that is by like inherently low power. And that's pretty cool. I think the fact of having like a Zada style effect with access to white makes it significantly better than if it's just red. Like with red, you have a lot of those haste cantrips and obviously cantrips that can draw you a bunch of cards if you're targeting multiple things. That gets out of hand and it is very powerful. But the moment you have access to white, you also have protection spells. Like, then all of a sudden, yeah, we're on a whole other level. Yeah. So having to pay a little bit extra mana to take advantage of that, that's probably for the best. Yeah. But we're also in red, so all of a sudden you can still, and it's a generic cost. So cards like Jessica's Will, Mana Geyser, like you know, some of these cards that can create a Seething Song if you're old school. Yeah, you can use a lot of very powerful
enough mana for Feather. Within a turn or two, you will have enough mana to target something.
You'll be able to get a couple ripples off some of these casts, and it has the power. If you get a chance to set up and nobody checks you, to be a powerful card. And leveraging this kind of effect too, leverages a lot of cards that are just lining bulk bins right now. You know, like this is a card this is a commander where I'm not opposed or I'm not embarrassed to run Defiant Strike. Defiant Strike's not a good card. But in this kind of a deck, being able to get +1/+0, sure, that's nice. But I'm giving that to my lifelinking flying commander. So that's relevant. And then on top of that, I'm drawing a card. If we copy it, I'm drawing additional cards. Like these little cards that are kind of useless little cantrips that most people forget. They're super cheap. You can copy them easily.
I like these kinds of card draw decks, but I play a lot of creature heavy decks. So for me, these are the cheapest little card draw things I could do.
Yep. And
if I don't have cheap card draw, these are so easy to craft because I always have a million uncommons on.
Yeah.
Granted, I have the privilege. I have the, I stream it for a living, so there's a reason I have so many wild cards.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
There's a place for them now.
Yeah, exactly. These kinds of cards, like Feather is the kind of commander where you can build this deck the way that I like to build my commander decks, where I look at the commander and I have the idea, and I go over to those big stacks of just bulk boxes that I have lying around, go to the red section, and just start flipping through and finding what I can find. And you'd be amazed at kind of the stuff that you can dig out of your collection. Now, I happen to have, I'm a total hoarder when it comes to Magic. So I have a whole bunch of stuff from back in the day that's not even particularly great. And actually, it's funny, come to think of it, a couple months back, I did something similar with this for a Sunforger deck. And I found a handful of really cool cards, and I leveraged cards that have draw a card text on them. So in Sunforger, what I'm doing is it's a Brunor Sunforger deck. So I can unequip Sunforger, go grab an instant out of my deck that happens to say draw a card on it. And then, and so I'm going up a card to get this one-time effect. Cards, and speaking of ones that'll fit in Feather, we also have cards like Shelter, which is a terrible search term on, is a terrible word to search on Skyfall. But here, I'm going to grab with the old art because it makes me happy. Feel free to judge me for that. So this is old school Shelter from Odyssey. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Draw a card. So I'm going to protect this thing, and I'm going to draw a card. Very simple. Very effective. It just does the thing. So
it does the thing.
It does the thing. And so that's in that Sunforger deck. I'm going to crack my Sunforger. I'm going to draw a card, protect my thing from you trying to kill it. And we're having a good day. In Feather, sorry, there we go. I had one more page than I realized.
Oh yeah, now you're just mass targeting.
I'm gonna pay
everywhere.
Yep, and so it's one of those things. This kind of becomes Ivy in reverse. It's very so like okay, you're gonna try to hit a go for the throat on my. I don't know, on my Keeper of the Accord or whatever. Okay, cool. In response, I'm gonna pay 2 target Feather with Shelter, and then I'm gonna copy it and target my Keeper of the Accord. They're both protected from you or your color, and I'm drawing 2 cards. Great, like that's that's winning right there. It feels good. So this is one of those commanders where you can find those clever lines and you can find some cool synergies and use cards that don't see much play outside of this kind of synergy. And as a result, I bet actually you could build a very powerful deck on the cheap with this. It's one of those where like. Aside from the mana base, it's going to be pretty inexpensive. So that's nice.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That works.
Let's get after it. And so
I'm excited for the precons too.
those precons look silly. Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
you had other cards that you had pulled that I haven't seen.
I have one. I have one other card that I want to talk about
freak
because I
out.
have many thoughts, and I'd like to get yours. So I'm going to defer.
I
to
feel
your-
like is it the card I'm thinking it's gonna be?
It easily could be. Is that card you think of Trouble in
No.
Pairs by chance?
No, I was thinking Leyline of the Guild Gate.
Oh, we can talk about that too. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Honestly, I've talked about that card on like at least 2 other shows, and I'm trying to remember which ones were here or which ones were elsewhere. But yeah, Trouble in Pairs. The reason I have so many thoughts about this card, specifically as it relates to Commander, is because of what it does. I'm just gonna read it off. Enchantment, 2 white. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. So with Expropriate, I'm saying time all day, baby. Whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card.
My first thought was that Orzhov Lotho is their stupid name. That
Yep.
whenever a player casts a second spell, they make a treasure token.
Yep, you make a treasure token and lose a life. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. The
First
Sheriff.
thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, similar vibe. Obviously, Lotho being 2, and ramping you is a little different, but similar vibe, right? Where we're punishing the opponent for taking game actions. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want it all in a Lotho deck now. Let's second spell screw everybody.
Get monologue text in there too. Let's get nasty. I love it. Yeah, but so the thing is, I adore this card. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It hates on extra turns, which is not something that currently gets hated on, but deserves it. So like, okay, great.
Much hatred.
We need hatred for that, and it's on top of a card that is otherwise playable. So even if nobody's played extra turns,
Yeah.
Okay,
Because I think
still
the
good.
current extra turn hate is so one-off on itself that
Yeah.
it never ends up in the 99 because we don't come across it often enough.
I'm not gonna play Ugin's Nexus. I'm not gonna do that. I know it's colorless. I can put it in any deck, but how often is this gonna be absolute
Why?
bum kiss and does not do
Why
anything?
would I do that if
Yeah.
it's not in the meta? Why would I do that?
Yeah. Meanwhile, on this, that text, I'm gonna forget about that text half the time because it's not the reason I run it. Yeah, and just incidentally, by the way, like piss off on your extra turns, which is hooray. But yeah, the idea of like when your opponent does the second thing on their turn, you draw a card. And it triggers off 3 separate actions. Whenever they draw a second card, whenever they play a second spell, or if they're attacking you with 2 things. It's like Mangar, the Diplomat, just like
Yeah.
to take it to the
It
next level.
deals with so many kinds of decks.
Mm-hmm.
So many kinds of decks.
Yeah. Well, how often how often is this going to be triggering in a game?
Every turn.
All the time. Exactly.
Every
It's going to be triggering. One mode on this is going to be triggering pretty much every turn. So yeah, you're going to be drawing 3+ cards off of this every single turn cycle. Like
Yeah.
that is.
Once it's like mid-late game. Oh my god, yeah, no, constant, whole thing.
I mean,
Whole thing.
on rate, this is probably going to be better than
If
Ristic
you're
Study.
playing against like my Sauron deck is all itty bitties that I'm yeeting out and trying to do nonsense. You'd be drawing every one of my turns. Every
Yeah.
single one of my turns, you're doing stuff.
And on top of that,
At
I
least
mean,
one thing.
even thinking about just drawing the second card, how much card draw is there in Commander? It's everywhere. Everybody's drawing extra cards on the turn.
And force everyone to draw a second card. You know, like the Bowmasters player.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny, like if you've ever been at a table where a werewolf has come out that's daybound, and you have the daybound nightbound thing, it never becomes nighttime. Never. Unless you have a spell that makes it nighttime, it will never be nighttime because
Yeah,
people are
that's
playing
the
multiple
reason-
spells every single turn forever.
Honestly, to me, that's a 1v1 typo.
100%.
Unless you're playing Tovolar and you force it every single
yes,
time.
exactly.
Which is why he was made.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
And if you're like, okay, I'll just take my turn off, so it'll become nighttime. The next person is gonna play 2 spells. Like they just
And you're
will.
fucking-
Yeah, you can't do that. Well, so as a result, Trouble in Pairs is going to be triggering probably every turn. It just is. And so I think on rate, this is
I have
better than
a
Ristic.
question. I have a question for the artists.
Yes.
Do Bear Claymore and Peachy Pop know that they're on a card?
Nice.
He's got that like handsome gentleman jawline. This reminds me of it. And Peachy literally has that haircut.
That is, yes,
And
100%.
like, it looks pinky.
Yeah, I mean that would not be hard for Peachy Pop could do that cosplay with minimal modifications. Yes.
Near a cosplayer
Yeah.
for fun's sake.
Obviously, the side shaves, the pointy ears, the green, pallor. Okay, yeah, that all isn't, that would have to be added. But
this is Peachy. Like,
Yeah.
she cosplays Nira, but this
Mm-hmm.
is Peachy.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I think this card is going to see a ton of play. It's going to be absolutely everywhere. And from a design perspective, from a game flow perspective,
I love it.
I love this design. The thing that I hate the most about Rhystic Study is not that it draws somebody 3 cards a turn. Whatever. If it just said on each of your opponent's turn, draw a card, if that's all it said, great. And you're gonna and that's effectively how it's gonna end up most games, right? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
draw a card off each person on average once, and that just is what it
Yeah.
is. The thing that I hate about Rhystic Study is the interruption. The fact that there's that do you pay the one every single time.
For those of us with ADHD, they're trying to stay on a fucking test.
Yes, exactly. Like I just want to play my turn. Shut up. Like
I'm not even that salty about it because it's one of my favorite freaking enchantments, and I have 3 of them, and I have not bought any of them.
it is fantastic. There's a reason we all see it all the time.
Rex, like, I love that card, and I know there's so much conversation about it being banned, and I'm not going to participate in the conversation. Yes, it is annoying.
It's annoying.
I do not think annoying is a reason to ban.
I'm okay with that. But yes, and as long as people are open in the Rule Zero conversations about that kind of thing, it is what it is.
Like,
And I've been in pods where people will just say,
active taxing in
Yeah.
my deck. Just heads up. It's not even so like, don't get salty. It's a learn how to adjust that salt.
right? Yeah, adjust the salt levels, add some potatoes, it'll help. But with this, the thing I love about this is the onus of keeping track is on the person who brought this card. Like if I play it, I have to keep track of what's going on the table. Otherwise, I'm missing my triggers. It's my responsibility.
pay
It's not
attention.
your problem. This is for me. And like, and then I'll just say like, up, Trouble in Paris trigger. Like, okay. And everybody just moves on. And you just do the thing. I feel like it's going to move much easier. It's going to flow much better. And it's going to be insanely powerful. This is going to be one of those, like, save your disenchant effects and definitely target this one because the amount of cards people are going to be drawing off of this, holy cow. Yeah. It's great. I love it. 10 out of 10, no notes. Yep.
Gonna be disgusting.
And it being a 4-drop, I feel like is fair. It's like, that feels like the right spot. Like, if you ramp into it, sure, you can get it out turn 3 pretty consistently. But if I tap out on turn 4 to drop this, like, given what you can be doing in Commander on turn 4, like, I feel like that's reasonable.
But
And obviously,
it's
if you
the
get a Soul
same-
Ring or
it's
any
the
of that
same
jazz.
cost as Rhystic. It's the same cost as Rhystic City. It's the same cost as Smothering Tithe. It's the same cost as a lot of stuff that would be interrupting interaction.
Isn't Rhystic 3?
Rhystic is 3. Oh God,
I
yeah,
know,
I
right?
forgot.
Nuts. Yeah, anyway.
Who thought that was okay?
I know who approved that. I don't know. It was a common when it was first printed. They clearly had no idea how good that was. Yeah. Well, and Commander wasn't a thing at the time, so that was, obviously, it happens to scale to, it's
Annoying
still very
shit
good.
standard.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more annoying when it's 1v1 because do you pay the one? Do you pay the one? Do you pay the one?
Yeah. All I want to do, I'm just trying to punch you in the face over here. Yeah.
I draw a card. No. I draw a card. No.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so anyway, I think Trouble in Paris is red. But yeah, we can also talk about, you had mentioned the Leyland of the Guild Pact.
Yes. Now, I saw people freaking out about this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I swear to God, I don't see people playing Domain and Standard. I know I am incorrect about how often it is played. I don't know why nobody plays it against me.
You're not going up against Domain and Standard?
You'd be surprised. Now that I
How? It's like,
because I keep getting the fucking Dimir and Azorius control people.
that's wild. I haven't gone up against full Azorius control in a hot minute. Actually, no, I played one against one of them earlier today. Because I was playing a deck that wants to resolve 5 drops. That's usually how that goes. But anyway.
Going up against control and driving me
No,
crazy.
the domain deck is the thing in the meta. It's about Last I heard, I think it was around 30% of like the competitive like tournament meta was domain. So yeah, it's everywhere. With
always
herd
so
migration,
wild.
herd migration and attracts at the top.
5-color anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't pull off a 5-color commander deck when it comes to mana balance. How the fuck you doing it in 60? Or God, the fucking people at pre-release? You inhuman freaks?
It's not hard. With the current mana fixing, it's very easy. So you turn 1 like Jetmir's Garden, turn 2 like Rafine's Tower or whatever. You just have your mana, or you have your domain fully locked and loaded. By turn 2, you have a Leyline Binding in your back pocket.
It's spelunking.
And you get Spelunking in the mix. That's an option. You also have Up the Beanstalk, which can draw 10 million freaking cards. Sunfall, obviously. That whole deck is... I am shocked you're not seeing it, because it is absolutely everywhere. Because... And it's funny. It's everywhere right now, even though...
the Dimir players.
The vast majority of players in Standard are tuning their decks to beat that deck specifically, and it's still winning. Like, it's...
Hilarious.
I mean... Well, it reminds me a lot of Uro and 4-color Omnath. Like, because when those decks were at the height of their power, they were untouchable. They were the greatest things.
Talking about 4-color Omnath.
And
I don't want to talk about it.
And stuff got banned out of that deck, and rightfully so. And so the domain deck kind of feels like that. I mean, it has fallen down a peg a bit since aggro's become more of the thing. You know, a lot of people are running, like, have kind of cracked the code on best of 3 mono red. That's become a thing all of a sudden. And that eats those decks alive. There's also a Bant Toxic deck that has stepped up big time.
Oh, goddamn. Mono red. I'm like, I don't want to.
Right.
I just don't. My only mono red deck at all is my Koth Brawl deck.
Nice. Koth is so good. And
He's so good in 1v1 Brawl. He's so good.
Honestly, I think Koth might see a comeback in Standard. I think, and by comeback, I mean relevance ever in Standard because of this card. Leyline of the Guild Pact. So with Leyline of the Guild Pact, it can enter...
That's what I'm building tonight. Oh no, it's double D&D night, which means I'm playing Baldur's Gate again.
Hell yeah. Love it. I still haven't rolled my character for the Monday thing. I need to do that. Anyway, so Leyline of the Guild Pact. This is 4 mana, and they're hybrid, green, and all the others. So it's like kind of Wooburg, kind of not. But it costs 4, because it's a Leyline. That's just their going rate. If it's in your opening hand, you may begin with it on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent controls all colors. Okay, so nobody running Fear can attack you anymore. Woo! All right. And then lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Oh, now we're talking. So you have perfect mana right out the gate. Like, domain, fully locked. All you need is a land. Doesn't even need to have a type on it. You're just good. You play a fetch land. You don't even, before you even crack it, you have full domain. Like, it's absurd.
All right, how much would Blood Moon screw this over?
It depends on what lands they had other than... Because they are all the basic land types. They don't stop being...
I'm stroking my beard to think.
There you go. They don't stop... Whether they're basic or non-basic doesn't change. But they get all the types. And so Blood Moon would strip... Actually, ooh. Now I'm trying to think about the oh, we get into layers. That gets weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this a replacement? Is this... Like, how
I think
would that
timestamps
work?
come into effect on that one. So if the Leyline...
This was out first and then Blood Moon
hits, then then I think Blood Moon would strip these. But I think if this enters after the Blood Moon, then... I think it's one of those. One of those. I know, we do need to judge on that. I'm not... Layers is one of my weak points when it comes to these kind of things.
Yeah, because I'm a psycho, and Blood Moon's one of my favorite enchantments. And I legitimately don't understand why people get so upset about it. Because it's just non-basics. You still have all your basics.
I made a Dimir... There's a non-zero chance I made a Dimir control player cry in Timeless because I resolved a Blood Moon on them when they had basic islands, but they didn't have any basic swamps. And I duressed them, and I got the Aether Gust out of their hand and looked at 2 Orcish Bowmasters. It was like, Blood Moon? And it was like... They scooped a turn later. I can't imagine why. Yeah, Blood Moon locks people out, is the thing. It locks you out of playing the game. That's why people get salty about it. And at the end of the day, run more basics. But, yeah, or just play red. That's also an option. Just play red.
Maybe it's just because I intentionally run so many basics.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, and I run a lot of basics, and yeah, even in my 4-color decks.
I just have a hard time with color fixing, so the more fucking basics I have in there...
Well, yeah,
if you're using it is for me.
Yeah, if you're using rampant growth, vegetation, or explosive vegetation style effects, you need a lot of basics anyway. So exactly. Yeah. When I run a lot of Budget Mana bases with like Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse and any that nonsense. So yeah, I happen to have basics.
Yeah, I have a lot of basics. I feel like having a lot of in Commander.
Yeah.
I
Play,
should specify.
honestly, I think most people need to run more basics in Commander in general.
I do too. I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary. Why are you even bothering with this lands that people use? I'm like, why wouldn't you just use your own color? Like Exotic Orchard comes to mind.
Yep.
I personally think it makes sense in 3 colors or more.
Sure.
Otherwise, why am I running it?
Yeah, when I see like monocolor players or 2-color players drop into Exotic Orchard,
would
like
you do that? Don't do that.
You can do better. You have better options. I understand.
Monocolor players.
Yeah. Like, if a mono player is doing this, like that could just be a basic.
Mono
Like,
players never make sense because every single mono color has utility that leans into that basic being in your deck, being on your board. Like damage equal to the amount of
Right.
If I want to use like there's that little priest that you tap him, sack him, and he does -/ equal to the amount of snowlands you have.
Yes, I know the exact one you're talking about.
I don't want Exotic Orchard in that deck. It's not a snowland. Yeah. So yeah, I'll forego an untapped land for a snow duel if this isn't a multicolored deck, just to be able to activate this kind of nonsense. And I'm just saying that, like, the lands also should make sense.
Yes, keep an eye. Make sure that your lands are dialed in based on what your cards do. Be very careful about that. And so,
I like my mana rocks. If I wouldn't put that utility in a mana rock, why am I putting it in a land?
100%. I love that. That's a really good way to look at it. But yeah, so with Leyline of the Guild Pact, like, yeah, this does fix your domain. It fixes your mana perfectly. So in 5-color Commander decks, that's the other thing, though, with the casting cost being hybrid, only 5-color Commander decks have access to this. So, this is not one of those where you can put in any deck.
Joda. It's Joda. It's going to be Joda. It's Joda.
Joda? Is it Joda? Is it a Jackal?
Joda.
Jackal.
It's a Joda.
Jackal?
Joda. It's a Joda. Joda.
Exactly. That's very much what this is. So yeah, if you're playing Joda, if you're playing, obviously not Golos anymore, but if you're playing that new Niv, like any of that jazz, this can become very, very powerful, and it can really help. Although actually with the new Niv, that's still a bit of a numbo, because the permanents are all colors, and I'm fairly certain with the way that Niv is worded, all of a sudden it would stop counting all of them.
Exactly two.
It'd have to be exactly 2 for the different pairs. So yeah, that's a thing.
All I'm thinking is the Golgari things that make pest tokens, because they're 2-color tokens.
Yep.
And all the Zet stuff that makes elementals, all the Boros that makes the hybrid spirits.
Yep, the hybrid spirits, the Inklings, all of them. So the Strixhaven, I think honestly Strixhaven was a 2-color set. So all of those, like, yeah, all those tokens are in bounds. That all counts. Yep.
Is that the token deck I've been wanting to build?
Possibly. Dust off those Damogoth Titans. We doing it.
I just saw war crimes. War crimes everywhere.
All these beautiful war crimes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that moment right there. I love it because it's like, I just had the greatest idea. You got like the look on your face there was the I just had the greatest like idea, like that Eureka moment, or the like I just had the greatest dream. It was that one. It's like, oh, I just saw murder everywhere. Oh. The destruction of my enemies. Oh.
Look. If I'm Plankton, you're SpongeBob. I don't want to hear it.
All right. Anyway, that was more Peter Griffin. There we go. There, better. Gotta open the mouth a little bit more. Same action in the throat. But anyway.
Yeah? Same action with the throat, Ham?
I mean, hey, I'm good with my throat. Don't judge. All right. All right. It's a skill nobody's sad to have in a partner. Anyway, so Leyline of the Guild Pact.
I'm the sex worker. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, and I'm the anyway.
I'm the sluttier one.
Not for my lack of trying, but anyway. Where rails? What are rails? Where are the rails? We're so off the rails. So the question with this card.
Good at it.
What up?
I didn't say I was good at being slutty. I'm really, really bad at it. That's like I can only play one color combo. I can't even like cheat on Golgari without feeling guilty, for fuck's sake. Like
It's like, oh, Boros again. Okay. Yeah.
I had one
Like,
Boros.
it's fine. No, this is totally fine. This is great. Yeah. Anyway. Man, so many weird places to take this tag. But yeah, so this card, I think this card is hilarious because you have people talking about what it's going to do in standard, what it's going to do in other formats, and people are freaking out, or saying if you've been on Twitter in the last few days, you've probably seen discourse about this card, and it is either the greatest card ever, oh my god, I can't believe they printed this, or this thing is absolute ass, I can't believe you people like this, what is wrong with you? Those are the two, yeah.
Okay. Like, obviously, in the decks it works in, it's going to be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It's just like, it's only going to be in a 5-color. That's it. It can only be in a 5-color.
Yep. In Commander, though, every deck that can fit this, I want to put it in. If I have a 5-color deck, I want to put it in.
Like, technically, no, this can only, I mean, out of Commander.
Yeah.
As long as there's green in the deck, you're fine. But
yes. Yeah, outside Commander.
Forest, nothing else, and be able to cast this.
Now, as far as non-Commander formats, as far as 60-card formats are concerned, I have heard some interesting discussion about this in the Green Devotion list in Pioneer and Explorer, because it enters on the battlefield with 4 Green Devotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of nuts. If you can get a Nykthos going early with this, that could get out of hand really fast. So, like, okay, that's interesting. You know,
we got them creature gods.
Exactly. So, you know, this and Llanowar Elf on 1, all of a sudden you have 5 Devotion up. You throw Nykthos down on 2. The Llanowar Elf will let you tap the Nykthos. You can now tap for 6 mana on turn 2. That's Storm the Festival on turn 2.
Yeah.
That's disgusting if you can pull that off.
I don't want that.
I mean, but you know why that's disgusting? That's not disgusting because Land of the Guild Pack's disgusting. That's disgusting because Nykthos is disgusting. That's, you know, and that's one of those things where...
First and always my first argument for targeted land destruction necessity in decks.
Absolutely.
And I will fucking die on that hill that you need utility land removal. No one is asking you to play Armageddon and then drag the game on for 10 more turns like that one fucking guy at the LGS that one time. What I am asking you to do is tap and sack Ghost Quarter to make that Nykthos a plains.
Just do it. Do it. And everybody out there who's bitching about Armageddon is not bitching about Ghost Quarter, for the record. We need to make that abundantly clear.
No bitching about Ghost Quarter. And I made a thread about these are the things, I didn't say these are the lands I would destroy. I said these are the lands I would Ghost Quarter. Because this is my go-to removal. Why? There could, like, this, when it comes to casual, I'm like, I'm literally taking away your scary land, and I'm letting you just have a basic. Like, I'm not,
basic.
You don't lose land on the board.
I'm cool with you playing the game, just not with that specific thing. Yeah, exactly. You're more than welcome to play the game. I'm not denying you of mana here.
Like, yeah, I'm not trying to fuck you over. I'm trying to get myself unfucked.
Exactly. And I also want to laugh at you that my, like, 50-cent Ghost Quarter just took down your $500 Guy's Cradle. But anyway.
I posted this and someone was like, why not Wasteland or Strip Mine? And I really wanted to be like, are you buying it for me?
Pretty much, yeah. Strip Mine's great. Like,
I literally just responded back. I'm like, because Ghost Quarter is $1. And they were like, oh, good point, David, think of that. Carry on. Like,
yeah, that's 100% it. Although, I mean.
Demolition Field and... Yeah, I'm going to lose my mind with that. I already pre-ordered all the precons.
Excellent.
I have a cosplay for Chicago.
Excellent. But yes, I mean, the Fallout Wasteland, they get it. They get it. This is it. This is like...
They're going to reprint it for anything. For a UB?
This was it. I mean, the world is just casually called the Wasteland.
It's just the Wasteland.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I've been here in this game, in this spot exactly before.
I've been in this vibe many times playing Fallout. Yeah. That's absolutely part of the deal. Yeah, this needs to be kind of the experience you're looking for if you're playing those games. Yeah. In any event. But yes, no, I do agree. Targeted land destruction, I think, is valuable. And the thing about, you know, the Leyline specifically, Leyline of the Guild Pact, Obviously, if you're in a deck that cares about having a lot of different colors represented on the board, I know Coalition Victory is still banned, but we have like Happily Ever After and things like that. Those cards that care about all these different things is cool. Oh, wait, the set code for Fallout is Pip? That's amazing. Oh, I never noticed that. Dude, Gozer, good eye. Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
That's amazing. I love it.
And I'm the one feral for this set.
You sure are. Yeah. But yeah, so Layla...
I contacted Wizards like months ago, and I'm like, I'm just saying. I'd be really great for a preview card. I'm just saying.
I mean, makes sense. If there's ever an Elder Scrolls crossover, I am going to like fly out there to knock on their door to
You and I both know there will be at some point.
Of course. If there are any old school Morrowind references, like if somebody previews Dagoth Ur and it's not me, I'm gonna be pissed. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. It's gonna be the Grixis Big Bad Commander for that set. It's gonna be dope as hell. Anyway. So, in any event. So, Leyline of the Guild Pack. Let's go back to the focus. But anyway, I think this card is really funny. I love the fact that people are talking about this. And in general, if you're in a 5-color deck, you might as well put it in there. Because the reality is, Leylines are weird, right? Because they might be free, so the effect can't be too backbreaking. Otherwise, it could just be absolutely insane. But it also needs to be relevant for 4 mana. Which is why cards like Leyline of the Void or Leyline of Solemnity, I think it is, where it's like, you get hexproof. It's like, well, okay, the player having hexproof, like, there are some matchups where that's great, and other matchups where that does literally nothing. So it's like, yeah, that being, like, free, if you have it initially, okay, whatever. And in some matchups, I'm more than happy to pay for that. You know? So,
is it enough? Probably not.
Probably not.
I tend to use a lot.
Yes.
Because the deck's focus is you don't get to have a graveyard. So it's never the only thing in there that's doing that. A redundancy that's in there. So I could try to get it out as early as possible and hope it's in my opening hand.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, cool. Like, those make sense. And like you see them in sideboards a lot. Where it's like, okay, if the matchup's good, pull them all in here so your chance of having one off the rip is great.
I think they're a good sideboard card.
100%. They just are. And so Leyline of the Guild Pack's in kind of this weird spot where it's like, yeah, certain decks are going to be able to abuse this. And people talk about the Domain deck in Standard as being a potential place for this. I don't think that deck is going to use this card at all. I will be shocked if that sees play here. Because that deck will never pay 4 mana for that. Or this doesn't trigger Up the Beanstalk, which is a big deal. That's a big deal. And so if it's in the opening hand, okay, great. But if it's not, it's a dead card in their hand. You know?
Yeah.
And the only benefit is that they can get the Leyline Binding out super early. With the Tri-Lands, they already are doing that. They don't need a boost there. And so I don't believe this is giving that deck any relevant benefit. Now, after rotation...
Out of Standard, in other formats, we have, what is it, Utopian Sprawl?
Utopian Sprawl, yeah.
For 2 mana... You're getting the same lands you controller every...
Oh, no.
No, not that one. What am I thinking of? Ground Seal?
Not
what
Ground
am
Seal.
I thinking of?
I know the one you're talking about. I can see the art from the Enchanting Tales.
The hell is it called?
Prismatic Vista? No.
No?
That's a land. Sorry.
Oh my god, I can't remember. Well, you know what the hell
I know the one you're talking about. There is an enchantment for 2 that gives you that same benefit.
Yeah, we'll give everything all colors.
If that's all you need, which is what we're looking at here. Like, that's the point. So, yeah, so this is one of those where
and that's in green.
Yes, it is. Yes. I'm feeling so silly for not remembering that.
However,
yes,
using this with Virtue of Strength.
Holy God, wait a minute. Virtue of Strength? But that card's terrible.
The one that gives everything 3 of each mana?
So Virtue of Strength specifically says if you tap a basic land for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead. So now all of a sudden, you can run like nothing but basics, and your mana's fixed. Like, the big problem with running too many basic lands over the duels is that you don't get much control over your colors. That's the worst part of it. Well, the moment you add the Prismatic... So you go hard green, you put the Leyline of the Guild Pack and then Virtuous Strength in here with nothing but basics, and maybe a couple ways to fetch basics if you're feeling nasty. But like,
And there's so much stuff in green that's like additional mana, additional mana,
Yep.
additional mana. You're gonna be tapping one land for 15, and you know, green players. Am I right?
I know, right? Green players, they're the worst. It's just yeah. When I of course I'm also seeing this. It's a 7 mana spell, so if you're in Sultai, you could do the Squirming Emergence package to get it out super duper fast. So you go primarily Simic with this. If you get the Leyline, everything's groovy there. And yeah, okay. This is silly and I like it. And then the moment you have this
I really
going,
want this for my Indominus Rex deck.
okay.
I just think it would be really funny to have way too much mana.
Right. Okay, we need to set the record straight. For anybody who's not familiar with, you know, our body of work, we're both Golgari mages. No judgment. Yeah.
He's a Silesia lover, but he's I'm a black mage. He's a green mage.
Understood.
So we feud like Aquarians and Virgos. I know you don't know what that means, but that's for my weirdo friends who do. Mostly Andrew.
I trust you. That's a thing. Yep. Okay.
Mostly goes there. You know.
I trust that that's legit. All right. Yeah. Good stuff.
So this with Grave, that's Guild Pack. That's very funny to me.
That's interesting. I hadn't considered that, but an idea of putting in support pieces specifically designed to make sure you can run nothing but basics. Like, I like that. That is a cheeky approach to this that I would never have thought of.
All you have is land tutors and basics.
Let's go.
Gitrog eating good tonight. Let's go.
Heck yes. I'm in. Let's do it.
I want Virtuous Strength for Gitrog.
I mean,
it needed more mana. There wasn't enough.
clearly not. And there are some other cards actually that like Gitrog in with murders. There's so many. It was insane. Lands Graveyard Matters cards. And I'm slowly feeling silence as I scroll viciously trying to find them because I don't remember what one of their names is. There are two that I want to talk about. I think we may have touched them last week, so this might be quick. Check me if I'm an idiot. Yes, where is it?
See, now I'm thinking about the new lands from Karlov, which we should talk about after because they're Clue lands
Yeah, that is fun.
and they're amazing.
Oh, here we go. So yeah, we have a couple. So did we talk about Undergrowth Recon yet? I don't think we did.
No, this wasn't spoiled yet. Veggie just spoiled this.
Yes. So Undergrowth Recon. Enchantment.
It's Jace Ventura.
1 green. That one was pretty great. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I mean, this just offsets Gitrog. Like, just straight up. Like, obviously with Spelunking, it's great. But yeah, if you're sacrificing a land every turn for Gitrog anyway, just get a fresh one. It's just hitting a second land drop every turn.
This is literally one of my number one chases for my Gitrog deck. I want that deck to be very, very strong without it being, of course, that Gitrog deck. I just want land nonsense so I can get to my stupid life drain because it's still an annoying way to win. It's just a different annoying way to win.
Love it. So yeah, I think this card is really, really good. However, this is a mythic in the set. And it's going to be a chase card. And a lot of people are going to go after it, again, especially in decks like Gitrog. There's another card that I'm more excited about than this. And it serves a very similar purpose. And I think it's going to fly under a lot of people's radar. Aftermath Analyst.
Yes, I saw this. I want this. This looks great. And it's an uncommon.
This is an uncommon from the set that honestly is every single thing I've ever wanted in a card.
Rare.
This is a thing of beauty and grace. And if you were curious about the kind of decks I like to run, this kind. Yeah, so it's a creature for 1 and a green. For a 1/3, when it enters the battlefield, you mill 3 cards. I'm already in, if I'm completely honest. I'm running Undead Butler and a bunch of crap like that does this already. In most of my decks, let's be real. But then you can pay 3 and a green, sacrifice it, and return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It has Splendid Reclamation in its back pocket as an activated ability? Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
And you can do it at instant speed?
What? What?
Like, I'm gonna block, and then, like, before
Green players
damage...
did not need this. I needed this.
I need this. I need this. This just needs to happen. I mean, I think this card is banana pancakes. It's insane.
Love it.
Like,
I love it.
this is the kind of effect, if you're running graveyard synergies already, like, the mill dork is a thing. It has always been a thing. It is what it is. You know, if you're running any deck with like Stitcher Supplier kind of effects in it, you're probably familiar with that. This absolutely fits in there. As you're milling, lands just end up in your graveyard. They're just sort of there. You just get a couple of them all the time, and usually they're just dead, right? Descend gave us an opportunity to kind of appreciate that they're hitting and count them for something. So if you care about Descend, okay, great. But otherwise, they're just dead hits. Like, they're like, oh, those are mills, and they're not a creature I can reanimate. This sucks, you know? But now, like, being able to just pay for, bring them all back, and on top of that, it's a creature for 2, and it doesn't exile when you do that. And so if you continue to mill, if you have any kind of Lurrus, Sun Titan, Recursion,
Back!
like,
Back!
my God, this is good. The possibilities on this thing are absolutely insane. Trust
Another
me,
one. Go in and get rock.
immediately, as it should.
Go in and get rock.
It should. And this is going in my Tandem deck. This is going in my friggin' Netherite Brawl deck. This is going to...
Imagine having Spelunking on that board too. Absolute. Well, the thing is, when it
That's
returns things to the battlefield from the graveyard, they're not going to come out tapped because it doesn't say tapped.
Well, this
Oh no,
does.
that one says tapped.
This one does say tapped. But yeah, if we have Spelunking down, great. But again, we can do it at instant speed. So if it's happening on our opponent's end step, all right, cool. I'm going to untap everything, and we're...
This will be untapped at that point.
Like, as long as you're smart about it, this card has the potential to be just... And yes, Spelunking, of course, does... Like, if you've milled really hard, and then you Spelunk, and you have Spelunking down on top of this, like, you could go up mana with this very easily in a turn. It is absurd. Yeah, I think this card's incredible.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, all you need is 6 mana to get 1,000 mana.
All of the mana. Yeah, heaven forbid you scape shift before this. I mean, like, come on.
Which will be great in my Get Rock deck to help me get to my turn 12 Soul Ring faster.
Exactly. That's how you do it. I love it. Love it.
Brain,
Oh,
please.
it's worth that. But yeah, I think this card's insane. I think this card's actively insane, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. You know, another card, though, that is not being slept on. People understand how good it is, and I absolutely think it is. Again, if we talked about it, check me. Urshiru's Charm.
We didn't talk about this, but I'm very fucking excited about this card. I am very excited for this card. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
This is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's an instant is what does it for me.
That's a factor. Yep.
It's the fact that it's an instant because, I'm sorry, did you tell me to not only tutor for a creature, but I just get to, like, maybe also trigger landfall shit? I may be able to punch you in the fucking throat for some hardcore green removal, or you may never see ever your exquisite blood ever again. Fuck your sanctum of all.
It's incredible. This does all the things. All of them. Like, normally whenever you're looking at a charm, you want to have, like, a good charm. You have one mode that's never dead, but maybe it's a little expensive, but that's okay. Then you have, but one mode that's never dead. It's always good. Then you have, like, 2 other modes, preferably, that are okay and maybe situational. If you've got that, you got a good charm. Honestly, given what we see here, all 3 of these modes, all of them
are good.
All of them are good. Like, there isn't a dud on here. Most charms have one dud mode that you're almost never going to use. That maybe comes in handy that one game out of like 20.
You got green ramp, you got green removal, and you've got more green removal.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like this card might get expensive.
It will, I guarantee it. And the land or the ramp mode on it is possibly one of the best ramp spells that has ever been printed, and even that exact same mode could be a creature tutor in the late game if you don't need any more lands. Like, even just that mode is never dead. Honestly, if the other two options weren't even here, I would still absolutely adore this card and want it in all of them. All of it. The first mode.
I want this in Evergreen deck. This is a great card.
Yeah, that and the top mode could have said basic, and I would still be happy about it, but it doesn't. And so go grab your World Tree, go grab whatever Tri-Land you need, go grab your Maze of Ith, go grab your Nykthos.
Yeah, Nykthos!
Grab your Nykthos! And this is another reason why people need to be running that artifact, or that land destruction. Your Field of the Deads, your Plaza of Heroes, if you're boring like me. Yeah,
Field of the Dead.
Field of the
I
Dead.
want just everybody to remind you that Field of the Dead goddamn exists. So demolition field is some shit.
Blow it up.
Good land removal, just use it.
Yeah. So Sylvan Scrying was already an excellent card. And that cost 2. At sorcery speed, you grab a land and put it in your hand.
And everybody liked it.
Everybody likes it. No notes. It's great.
Solid card.
This, it's 1 extra mana, and it's 3 green, but you can do it at instant speed, and it goes right to the battlefield.
There you go.
Shut the hell up. This is absurd. This is absurd.
And again, another one. Opponent's end step. So you got it right there, and it's super gross, and I love it to bits and pieces.
Yeah, pound for pound, this might be the most powerful card in the whole set.
100% getting this for every deck.
You should. And everyone will. So it's going to be expensive. If you open one of these, sit on it for a week or two, because just watch that price. Just watch it go. Yeah. So either use it, or if you need to sell it to pay, I don't know, like a car payment, yes, this will probably be enough.
In 2 weeks, sell it.
Yeah. Because the other thing is, even older formats want this. You know, like there are probably, I mean, we have Primeval Titan decks.
There's a place for this in
a lot of those older formats. Like
maybe not everyone, but
it's good. It exists. They're out there.
We see it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is Field of the Dead legal in this format?
This is going to be one of those cards where I feel like is going to be a banger for a long time.
It is. This is going to be the gold standard from here on out. Yeah, that people are going to judge, land tutors against. Yeah, this is it.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Sorry, crop rotation. You've been great. You're
I
still
love
great.
Rotation.
We still love crop rotation.
Harrow is my favorite.
Oh, Harrow is so good. Harrow is a classic.
Harrow is definitely my favorite. The fact that it's an instant, that's another one. The fact that it's an instant, that's what does it for me.
And they come in untapped.
Yep.
Instant speed, basic lands, they enter untapped. So yeah, you can do 5 mana worth of stuff if you have the cards to line it up. Yeah, it's real nice.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something really cool about on your opponent's turn, harrowing and then using a 2 mana removal spell. It's like, haha, yeah, got him. Yeah,
kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, you have fine taste. Although I should probably bust out the original Harrow art, because I mean, look at that. Like,
I love the OG
that's
art.
just lovely.
So cool.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Changing Wrath's landscape is like tearing the scab from a wound. Yuck. All right. It's good flavor text. I mean, it's evocative flavor text. Like, I'm interested.
Text. I also hate it.
Yeah, it's like it's just kind of yucky, but I mean, all right. Cool.
Are you doing pre-release?
I don't have it kind of planned out, but I probably will, honestly. This set has enough stuff in it that I kind of want to be there when when there's that moment, because
I'm doing pre-release for sure.
Heck yeah.
It's Gozer's first pre-release. I did like an at-home one for Ixalan, and there was just 4 of us, so we just did our own little pod, and it was really fun because he'd never done it before. I didn't want to like throw him into a room full of salty, sweaty people, making it uncomfortable and weird for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he even knows that I'm gonna end up thrown out of the damn place if somebody looks at this man wrong during pre-release. I swear to God.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
It's worse because Shannible's working the event.
So you got to be nice. Yeah.
Shannibal will be like, B, could you not get me fired from my job?
I love that I love that there's a world where just you two see each other just in physical space regularly. Like, that just makes me happy because, like, I know you both from the internet and you're 2 of my favorite people, and it's just like, oh, you just exist kind of in the same spot. I
And we
love
get
that.
to see a wild Yogg and Valerie Fatality floating around
That is-
sometimes too.
Yeah, every now and then, whenever I'm on Twitter and I just see like random pictures of like that, the Philly crew, just like, wait a
Well, then
minute.
then Tori and Lua,
Yeah,
the big names here. Like, there's so many Philly creators.
that's incredible.
None of us hang out almost ever.
That's wild. Because you probably should, because you're all cool people. Like, anyway,
We're all introverts who don't
Well-
leave the house.
fair.
The problem with creators is we're like, I don't want to leave.
Well, and it's fun. Actually, it's really funny you mentioned that because I have a detail that might kind of blow your mind a little bit. Maybe.
Oh God.
I've never done a pre-release. Like, actually in the store. I've purchased plenty of pre-release kits,
Oh shit!
but I've never actually been to a pre-release event.
Oh my God, they're so fun.
I started playing this game in 2003. It has just never been part of my deal. I usually buy, a bundle or something when a set comes out, and I dive into the new cards, but it's usually online, playing Commander with people.
Yeah.
I rarely I'm not active at a local game store right now.
Yeah.
At all. Like, and that's something that I'm also kind of...
You should. They're so fun. I've done a bunch.
I know I should. And it wouldn't be terrible. It wouldn't be terribly hard for me to pull it off. I just need to...
Neon Dynasty was my first one. And I pulled the Jin.
Yes. Excellent.
Every once in a while at a pre-release, I get something gross. So I pulled the Jin.
Mm-hmm.
At All Will Be One, I pulled Omnath. And then at Ixalan, I pulled Galta.
Hell yeah. I love
Which
it.
I was like, in the deck. And
Yep.
that way, I'm like, I don't normally build around the bomb.
But sometimes...
But it doesn't, because normally I don't have the most color support for it, or
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, it made sense with fucking Ixalan, which
Yep.
was great. So
I've definitely had a couple of sealed pulls on Arena where like I open it and I'll see like 3 rares all in the same color, being like, hell yes, we're doing it. And then I look at the rest of the like the lower rarity cards of that color and there's like nothing. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing to me? Yeah.
Sega.
Yeah. One is funny too because there are certain bombs where it just doesn't matter. Just shut up and play it. Where it's
Once-
like if you're in like Lost Caverns, like if you open Aclazotz, like if you open Bat God, you just play
Just
it.
play it.
You
Just
just play
play
it.
it.
Even it could be the only black card in the deck. Doesn't matter. You're just playing it.
Just play it.
100%. You just do it. Because if you draw that, you win. It's just how that. Trust me. I rode a really really terrible draft to like a 6-2 finish or a 6-3 finish off the back of Aclazotz. It's just if you draw that
amazing.
card, that's game over.
That's amazing.
It's so good. Anyway, but that's
Yeah.
we can do limited discussion another time. But yeah, so no, I'm thinking about this being my first pre-release because these honestly all the designs look incredible. Like there's so many cards from top to bottom, and
This is one of those sets that has so much self-contained mechanic that looks like really interactive and really enjoyable.
yes,
Like, I'm so into it.
yeah. And when you give me, I mean,
I
and
love Clue.
I know. Well, and it's funny. I'm a big Morph stan. I love Morph. I love it so much, and it's
So
back.
Disguise.
So yeah. Also, this.
By
card.
the way, Mystic Forge works with Morph. I think it might work with Disguise because they're
It would.
colorless, so you could cast them off the top. So I just wanna remind people, courtesy of
love
Tess
that.
Wiley, that Mystic Forge
Oof.
allows you to cast Disguise and Morph from the top of your deck.
Yeah, you may cast artifact spells and colorless spells from the top of your library. And yes, yep, exactly. So that permanent, when it enters the battlefield, is colorless, and when you're casting it, it is also considered colorless. I hadn't thought of that interaction, and I love that. I am so here for this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, that is so happening. I'm so doing all of this.
Right? It's not even, it's a 4-drop colorless. I didn't even know I had one because they're not expensive, but they're like a few dollars. Didn't even know I had one. Took it off my Sir Ginger list because it was a few dollars. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep this as cheap as possible. Check your bulk.
Check your bulk. Yeah.
I found a foiled vintage frame.
A what?
I was like, where did you get this?
You peeked a little bit on that one. What was that?
I said I got like a foiled vintage frame Mystic Forge. No idea where I got it.
Wow, that's a
Not a clue. It's beautiful.
excellent. Yeah.
So it's obviously in Surgender now.
I mean, yeah. That's what you do. I love it.
Which, by the way, I told Cody from Jun Fund I wanted to make a CEDH Surgender deck, and he is being like a little mad scientist. He actually thinks it's viable, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought it would be unhinged.
I mean, Surge Ninja can produce a ton of damage
Right.
very fast.
So think about what's about to happen with Investigate and Surgender.
I mean, that could be a thing. Yeah. Well, and how many effects allow you to sacrifice like clue tokens just without a mana investment? You know,
Yep.
that's absolutely a thing.
Clue and food without any money investment. Plus, you're just sacking treasures
All the time.
We have a
Yep.
manufacturer. The Nuka-Cola machine that is going to be coming out in Fallout is going to make these things brutal. So having all these things in these artifact archetype decks is about to become makeshift banana pants.
Indeed. That sounds absolutely bananas, and I'm excited to see it. Speaking of, maybe you're in a pod against, Kibo, and maybe literal bananas will be in the mix as well. That's a possibility. Just saying.
I swear, once all of this stuff has dropped, I'm really gonna make like a food fight full 5-color deck.
Do
But
it.
I think I'm gonna use Rainbow Bridge. We're calling it Taste the Rainbow,
Of course. Yep. Okay.
and it'll be a food because we're yeeting food stuff. It's a food fight. We're throwing
I mean, naturally.
food.
Would you actually have the
Board.
card food fight in the deck? I wonder. It probably wouldn't synergize. Or no, but yeah, of course. Okay, silly me.
It would be hyper thematic,
I mean,
like
okay,
super.
alright.
It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be silly, super theme
Mm-hmm.
food deck. But I mean, this would be great
I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
because you can copy shit in a 5-color deck. How easy is it to copy enchantments?
I mean, not hard. Absolutely. You've got your Mythos of Alunas and,
Yeah.
your clever impersonators, all that jazz. It's, yeah,
In the deck, we have cloning.
there can be cloning. Yes.
You're fine. So yeah, no, it could be very, very, very silly.
I dig it. Yeah.
So yeah, I think my Surgender deck is about to get an upgrade with all of the releasing, all the clue stuff that's coming out, which is great because I can't afford to buy the stuff I wanted to put in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Considering how it's my birthday, I'm probably not paying for a lot of Karlov cards anyway.
I mean, that is coming up. So, yeah. Yeah. Another card that I flashed for a second that I'm going to be putting in a lot of decks once I get my hands on it. Outrageous Robbery. I love this. This is like
Yeah.
it's like Silver Scrutiny, but in black. And as a result, instead of drawing your own cards, you draw your opponent's cards,
I want to put this in my Ashiok Oathbreaker deck.
as you should. I also adore the fact that this is an instant. Because your opponent, like, okay, on your end step, I'm going to Vampiric Tutor. Like, oh, that's totally cool. Okay, that resolves. All right, now before I pass out of my end step, I'm going to Outrageous Robbery you for 1. like, I don't know. Like, little things like that I just absolutely adore. It's just like, yeah, whatever that was that you just teed up, yeah, nope, that's mine now. And it's, so this card, X, black, instant speed. You exile, so target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down, and you may look at them and play them for as long as they remain exiled. And you can spend mana or any color to cast them. So it's similar to Praetor's Grasp, except you get potentially a lot
Praetor's
more
Grasp.
cards.
I just put Praetor's Grasp into Tiny Bones.
I love it. Oh, I just realized this would be amazing in Zevlor. Okay, anyway, because you're targeting an opponent. It's like, what about all the
Is this-
opponents? Yeah, no, yeah. That's the thing that happens when you're talking Commander with people. Like the moment you mention a particular piece of tech, like there is that when you get the ooh and then a moment of silence, like ooh, we got one. Like that's a good one. All right, good. That's the review you're looking for. Like,
Deck.
maybe we're onto something here. I love it. But yeah, so this card is just black card draw. If you have black in your deck, and honestly, Dimir Your Stuff is a phenomenal archetype, and you can do some ridiculous nonsense with it. So if you're playing Xanathar and all that jazz anyway, just do it. Yeah, anyway.
That's what I keep coming across at fucking Standard.
I mean,
Dimir
yeah.
Your Stuff.
Dimir Your Stuff.
I wish I was coming across Domain Morph.
I have no idea what you're talking about. None whatsoever. Like, what do you mean? Who plays Your Stuff in Standard? Like, how would you do that, even? I don't understand.
I'm gonna smack you.
I deserve this. Yeah. The other one that I absolutely adore, by the way, that's in standard that nobody plays that everybody should is Blue Sun's Twilight.
I like that card a lot.
I love this card.
Lights. Yeah.
Yeah, all the Twilights are underrated in my opinion, and this is one where in standard, like nobody's running it until I go into game 2 against the mono blue deck, and I drop my awesome I get my Glissa Sunslayer online. Like, all right, feeling great, Blue Sun's Twilight. Damn it! It's like, all right, the amount of tempo swing in 1v1 that this gives you is so impressive. But even then, even if we're talking commander, in ramp shells, being able to steal, a creature and get a copy of it immediately, that is insane. And yeah, if you have blue, if you're doing ramp in commander, actually, I kind of love this card in general because it scales. It scales well to multiplayer, which is really important. And that's something that I think, certain cards, some cards have it, some cards don't. And, I don't know. I think that's why I enjoy kind of hearing both sides of the equation,
Yeah.
and the fact
I don't blame you. I love them.
Yeah, and the fact that there are certain cards like the Archdruid's Charm that I'm hearing people salivating about everywhere, like no matter what format they play, no matter what environment they're in, I'm seeing limited people, going crazy about it. I'm seeing constructed people going crazy about it. I'm hearing commander people going crazy about it. Everybody's just like, this card's great. This is awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. I enjoy that. When you see that, there's something special there. And and this set has a couple of those where I think people are generally pretty darn stoked. So yeah, good stuff.
I'm excited. Cool. I do want to say though, it's like 5:45.
It is. Were there any other cards that we want to talk about before we called it a day?
I mean, we still have another week.
We do.
Before a pre-release.
We do. So what you're saying is next week we need to do a full set review where we go through every single card in painstaking detail, right?
I think so.
I mean,
that'll be the day before a pre-release, and there's no streamer event this year or for this release. GG. Big sad.
I know, right?
Big sad. But there's no streamer event this time, so this will be our streamer event.
We can do that. Yeah. It's funny. I was kind of like, I was partially kidding about a full set review, but I mean, maybe.
I mean, we're at this point.
I mean, we could.
Might as well.
I mean, I don't know. We tangent so hard, but anyway, we'll figure it out. But yes, thank you everybody for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. This has been Hot Soup. This is the weekly show where we get together and talk smart and just kind of be silly bitches. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We really appreciate y'all joining us. So we're gonna call it here.
All right. So much. I'll be on my channel at 8 p.m. For D&D. Ham, are you streaming again tonight?
You know me. Of course I am. I'm going to be guesting. You think I'm joking. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to be over on Jarvis Moonbeam's stream playing some EDH at 9 p.m. Well past my bedtime. It's going to be fun.
Excellent. So if you want to go see two late 30-somethings be real awkward on camera, which you do, you're here.
I mean, right.
Tune in later. Otherwise,
we got you.